welcome back to the Kit and Krysta podcast. Very exciting, episode 50 and Sonic Week.
Wow, day 4 of Sonic Week.
Look at this, we're still alive.
We're making it, we're getting through it.
It's
been fun.
It's actually been really fun, and today we are joined by a very special guest, Katie from Sega, who really had like the opposite life as you.
It's true, the inverse.
The inverse life, yeah. And we get to talk to her all about her history with Sonic. She really schooled us on a couple of things, which was great. And
we don't know anything, okay?
Exactly.
I mean, if it's not clear at this point, we know less than nothing. Thank you for all the helpful comments and tips. We are learning.
We are learning, and awesome to have Katie on to teach us more great things about Sonic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Before we get too deep into Sonic Week, congratulations to us for making it to 50 episodes.
I know.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's so exciting.
It is.
I can't believe we're at 50, and it really coincided with something pretty interesting and fun with Sonic Week. So yeah, the stars aligned.
That's right.
But yes, thank you all for sticking with us for 50 episodes.
Yeah.
All of these 50 episodes so far have been made possible by our
and
wonderful...
will continue to be.
Exactly. Our wonderful, beautiful Patreon subscribers. If you want 50 more episodes, please join us on patreon.com/Kit and Krysta. We are currently, we have a Patreon goal going right now to help us get to Japan this year, which would be a great way to celebrate year 2 of all of this wonderful Kit and Krysta content that we hope that you are enjoying. But yeah, we got a goal live now, so join us, and help us get there.
Yeah, you can sign up for as little as $2 a month. This weekend, we're doing one of our hangouts for some of our members, where we're going to be having a good time, maybe playing a game, doing something else. We haven't decided yet, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're really excited. We love our monthly hangouts with our Patreon community. It's always a good time, and we love getting to know you guys better. So yeah, it's going to be great. Join us, not too late. All right, we are now deep into Sonic Week. We've already gone through a couple of days.
Yes.
We've played 9 classic, good, and also not very good.
I don't know if they're all classics, to be honest. In hindsight...
Well, like 1 through 3 is a classic.
Yeah. I mean, Sonic 06 is the outlier.
Yeah. Adventure is a classic, I would say.
Yeah. Maybe it's just that one.
Maybe it's just... Well, I was going to say we did, like, sort of like 8 classics, I guess, and then 1, like... known
you have
Sonic
you have to do it
just to see.
It's so like well documented and discussed. We have to see what the fuss is about.
Exactly. We had to see for ourselves. That was just like, let's look at a car wreck up close kind of situation.
Wow. We learned the difference between Dr. Robotnik and Dr. Eggman.
There is no difference.
That there is no difference at all.
We've learned that. What else have we learned? Maybe that's it.
Still got to go fast.
We learned that the music in Sonic is very, very good.
Don't drown. I mean, that's just good life advice and Sonic advice.
And hedgehogs can't swim.
Yeah. Well, that was our second video, which is also out, which is us reacting to the music.
Yeah, that has been
excellent music.
And that has been the most pleasant surprise personally for me. Like, I kind of knew a little bit about the Sonic games. I'm glad that I played a lot of these that I never got a chance to try before, but I guess I never really sat down to really listen to the music, and the music just like floored me. I'm so into Sonic music now. It's so good. All of these tracks are amazing. It's like really top notch. Not even video game music, just music. It's really good.
Yeah.
Like I was like so impressed.
Yeah, listening to it chronologically was very interesting, and there were some really drastic shifts in the music, especially once they got into the Sonic Adventure, and it seemed like they were making like an album to go along with the game instead of music to put in this level or that level. Very, very forward-thinking approach. That
was what I was really like impressed by with the transition to Sonic Adventure, is that it really felt like they took a very cinematic approach, which, like, I would say Mario games don't do, you know? And it's just a very different approach, and I really respect that. I actually really like the adventure games as well.
Yes.
And again, I think the music is done so well for those games, and that continues to be, like, a surprise to me. So, so that video is out now. Let us know what you guys think. If you have favorite tracks, we'd love to see your comments as well.
We've also streamed Sonic Frontiers. That's the one thing that we have not pre-recorded as of recording now. So hopefully, I'm sure that was great. I'm sure it was a genius work of streaming by us. But I'm very curious about that game. That game has a good reputation.
Yeah, it did really well.
People did not seem disappointed about that game, so we're dedicating a good chunk of time to that.
Yeah, and we've been like kind of holding off on playing that game, even though we had it last year, because we were anticipating doing it for the first time, nice and fresh for Sonic Week. So it was really fun to. It's going to be really fun to do it.
Yeah. And then the capper for the week, which is out on Friday, is we're watching the first Sonic movie and doing kind of a watch-along commentary.
Yeah. You called it a BYOM, which is fun.
Well, we don't have the movie.
Yeah, we don't have the movie.
We had the movie. But we cannot include that in a YouTube video.
That's correct. That would get us into some deep trouble.
Katie would not like that.
No.
She would stop being my new best friend.
Exactly. What?
Yeah.
Not best friend.
And I'd have to go back to you. My old best friend.
Well, now you don't have any best friends.
I don't have anybody. I have Sonic. That's all I
have. You have an empty Sonic onesie.
I have an empty onesie.
Yeah, that's what you have. Now that you've ruined it for yourself by being you.
Ow.
But anyways, back to the movie. We do not have the movie, so you have to have the movie.
Yes.
But we do commentary.
We do have the jokes.
We have the jokes and we have the reactions, and we'll put like timestamps in to like where we start to play the movie, and then like throughout the video, so you can make sure you're
around.
Caught up with where we are. But yeah, that's it. Sonic Week will end this Friday.
I thought that was a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was impressed with that.
San Francisco.
It's got nothing. I mean, I don't want to spoil the movie for people who are going to watch along, but San Francisco is not as big of a part as I maybe thought.
San Francisco.
Whatever. Yes, you should check that out.
James Marsden.
Yeah. Even if you've seen the movie before, just put this on in the background.
It's fun.
And hang out with us.
This is my second time seeing it.
This could be a fun new thing for us to do. If people like this, we can do more. Obviously, we need to find the right thing to do. We're not going to react to like
Mean Girls?
Avatar or something.
I'm not doing a 4-hour reaction.
Oh my gosh.
But like any video game movie, that would be good.
Right.
Yeah, there's Sonic 2, obviously.
Yeah.
Detective Pikachu. You can watch that
again. There's some stuff.
There's some stuff. Yeah.
There's some stuff. Yeah.
And then we got to think about what we're going to be doing with the Mario movie, like in a few short months.
Yeah.
Anyways, movies are good.
Right.
And that was a fun end.
It's a great way to wrap
Sonic
it up.
Week. Yeah.
So that is the totality of Sonic Week. We already did start to ask the question of what is the next fill in the blank week that we might do at some big milestone,
it's
some
kind
fun
of
milestone.
fun, actually. I really liked doing just a 1 week dedicated, like going deep on a game series, especially one that I don't know much about. I really learned a lot, and I do think I'm coming out on the other side like more of a Sonic fan and like definitely more knowledgeable about I can probably talk to somebody that likes Sonic games a little bit more now, which is fun, which is nice.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to be completely like ignorant to it.
Yeah.
It's a big part of gaming.
Yeah.
So.
I've joked that this week has had kind of like those videos. It's like teens react or elders react. It's just clueless people react.
That's you. You're an elder.
I'm an elder and you're the teen.
Yes.
That doesn't sound right.
But it is.
But it's like normally, I think we pride ourselves on being knowledgeable, and we do a lot of research and we prepare. But in this case, it's like this is what it is. We don't know,
and we like live and breathe.
We're gonna bumble through this.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're gonna help us out along the way.
It doesn't have to be us bumbling through stuff, although it's pretty funny to watch us bumble through stuff. But if we think about something else that we could like learn about or even just go deeper on, I think that would be really fun.
Yeah.
We need to find the Krysta equivalent.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What is that? You say I'm mysterious, but you're mysterious. Remember when we did the Ninja Turtles pizza video, that great video?
Yeah.
I said, what is this thing for you that we can do? And you're like, I don't know. And you changed the subject. Now I'm asking you, what is your equivalent of Sonic? We go, I don't know. You're the mystery. I'm an open book.
Let's think about it.
There's nothing.
I'm not going to tell you right now.
Oh, is it a secret?
Maybe.
Are you going to tell me after we finish?
Maybe if you're nice.
I know. I want to know.
It depends on if you
I really want to know.
Behave yourself during this podcast.
On Sonic Week? I can't do that.
Anyways, yes, but it's been great fun. And this podcast is going to be very Sonic focused as well.
Yes.
Which is great.
Aside from the news, I think it's all Sonic.
Good.
We got Sonic memes that we're going to be
games
reacting
we're
to.
playing, though.
Oh, games we're playing. I thought we're talking about some Sonic games there too.
Yeah.
So, yes, very jam-packed with Sonic stuff. Also, not Sonic related, but in the world of Sega.
Yes.
We played Yakuza Ishin!
Oh.
Exclamation point is the official
title.
Don't I wrote
call it Yakuza.
It's like a dragon Ishin.
Oh my god!
Oh,
I can't believe that you did it to yourself. I can't believe that. How shameful.
It's hard habit to break.
Go sit in the corner now with a cap on.
I can't.
Like a dragon.
Yes, the embargo for that is not up, but it will be soon.
Yes.
And we will have a video with our reactions and gameplay for you to check out.
Yeah, it is very cool. We had a good time. We'll just leave it at that.
Yes.
And then we have one last little thing before we jump into the episode, which is we are doing a bit of a change. We mentioned this at the beginning of the year, but we're doing a bit of a change to this schedule of videos. It starts in this week now, immediately, as of right now.
Yeah.
So Super Kit and Krysta 64 will be 2 times a month.
Every other week. Is it always 2 times a month? Do you know that for sure?
I don't know.
You don't, every other week.
Fine. Every other week. I'm already confusing myself.
You're going to get sued.
I had to make myself a very complicated calendar to understand.
I don't know what's complicated about it. It's a calendar.
I don't know. I was very
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. What comes next? You don't know. Friday. I've got you on your heels now.
And then we will also be streaming every other week.
Right. In the in-between weeks, we'll be streaming. Yes.
That's right. So that's the new. You'll still get the same amount of stuff.
Yeah.
But it would just be, the streaming will be more regular. Yeah. And of course, we'll still, if there's stuff that comes up, we'll still do reactions and we'll still do live reactions and stuff like that, depending on what's happening. But you can count on a stream at least, every other week.
And what's changing with this here podcast? Absolutely nothing. Still be weekly.
Absolutely nothing. Yeah. The podcast seems to be good. Y'all like the schedule for the podcast. We like the schedule for the podcast. It seems to be working, so we won't rock the boat on the podcast.
Right.
Yes. All right.
Before we get into the rest of our Sonic Week special, this episode is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Woohoo!
Thank you. You need to always be feeling like your best self to be operating at a high level, but sometimes that's not always possible.
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes you feel, like you're lethargic or you're struggling or just generally just not maybe in tip-top shape, and this is where a BetterHelp therapist could help you. And it's really easy to sign up. We've both done it. You fill out a questionnaire and you get matched to a licensed therapist. And you can talk to them about all sorts of stuff and even little things or things that you're just dealing with on a day-to-day basis to help you become that better person or that your best self. That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
It's great and very convenient.
It's very convenient. You can do it on video. You can do it like a phone call. You can do it just through text. You can mix and match whatever works best for you. So your best self is never too far out of reach.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, if you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can help you get there. Visit betterhelp.com/KitandKrysta today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/KitandKrysta.
And we're going to put the link right here and also in the description below. Check it
out.
All right.
All right. To get things started, we asked our Patreon subscribers about their favorite Sonic game. What is it and why?
Right.
So
got a lot of very passionate comments back.
Right. So let's check out some of these. Switching it up _ said it has to be the original Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Master System. I was always a Nintendo fan growing up and never owned Sega system. However, my cousin who lived in the country had a Sega Master System, and we used to play Sonic on it every time I went up there to visit. We bonded over Sonic, and I remember thinking how cool it was spending time with Sonic with him. I remember thinking how awesome the music and graphics were too. Switching it up _ is in Australia, so obviously the Sega Genesis was not the Sega Genesis there.
Ah, that's why it's the Sega Master System.
But this kind of, through the generations, it's like people seem to have if you're a certain age, you might like the original games. or maybe you like the adventure games, or even something that's newer.
It's very similar to a Mario fan.
Exactly.
When you're growing up, it's like, what is that like core memory game that you first encountered?
Yeah.
And I totally have these similar memories playing Sonic games with my friends, because I'd never owned a Sega. So I definitely remember playing it with them. But just maybe not as like a deep experience for me than a Mario game.
Abe T said, Sonic Adventure DX on the GameCube took up a lot of my time with the Chow Garden.
Oh, the Chow Garden.
Again, with the Chow Garden, which you're very intrigued by.
I'm intrigued by the Chow Garden.
You could rescue the animals through the levels to raise their stats for various events and change their aesthetic. You could also hook up your GBA to play with and raise them in the tiny Chow Garden. Looking back, though, it was a bit of a waste of time.
Aw, but in the moment,
you have these great memories. It's not a waste of time.
It was totally awesome, so it's not a waste of time.
Right.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people really love the Chow Garden.
You need to get on this.
Like a Tamagotchi Pokemon kind of situation.
Here's another really dumb confession on my part.
Oh?
So, you're trying to get in these games the Chaos Emerald. So I got confused about the pronunciation of this. Is it that, are these like Chow, or is it like Chaos? Is it based on Chaos?
The Chows are not really, is it Chaos Garden?
Is it the KO Garden, or is it, I think it's Chow, but it's a little confusing if you don't know. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh.
No, so you never thought of this.
But wait, but is it still Chaos Emeralds?
It's not the Chow's.
It's not Chow Emeralds.
It's not the Chow's Emeralds.
It's not,
or is it? I mean, it is now, maybe.
It's not.
Oh, you're thoroughly confused, so let's move on.
Oh my gosh, I never thought about that.
See?
I thought it was spelled differently, the Chow Garden. I thought it was CHOW, like Chow Chow, like the dog.
No.
I'm really confused.
Zroid. Gotta move on. I assume I'll be the only person, parentheses, in the world to vote for this one, but that's fine with me. My favorite Sonic game is Sonic 3D Blast. I rented it multiple times on the Genesis when I was a kid, and I had a blast. The consensus is that it's a bad game, but I really was into that isometric 3D thing at the time, and I liked how unique it felt compared to the other games at the time. I'll be honest, it's not a great game, but whispers, neither are the other Sonic games.
Whoa,
wow, Zroid really earning some points with me here.
Yeah.
I do like all those games on the Genesis. Like, they seemed like they were pushing that hardware to do things that maybe it shouldn't, and I do like the look of those.
Yeah.
They seem to have pulled it off really well. I don't know how, but it's very cool.
Yeah, I never played any of those games actually. So, yeah, I mean,
any of those games being what?
The Sonic 3D.
Well, there was only one.
Oh, I never played Sonic 3D.
That Zroid's talking about.
I never played it.
Wow. This is a rough segment for you right here.
What do you mean? I don't know. I never played it. I didn't have it.
Zelgaroth. I really like Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure 2 is iconic, but I really like the fact that you get to experience Adventure 1's story from multiple perspectives by playing as different characters. Mm-hmm. That is a cool aspect.
That is a cool aspect, yeah. I like the Sonic Adventure games as well.
Yeah.
I think they're quite good.
And Ivan Brugier, hope I pronounced that right, has a different opinion. Sonic Mania perfected the 2D Sonic design as more fun to play than the original games, in my opinion. I have a similar animosity to the Sonic franchise's kit, but I can pick up Sonic Mania anytime and just casually play.
Oh. You had a different reaction to Sonic Mania.
Well, yeah, so this...
As Ivan.
All of these games, minus Sonic 3D Blast, were in our video. Mm-hmm. And Sonic Mania, when that came out, a lot of people came to me and said, you should play this because this kind of perfects the 2D Sonic formula, and it might change your mind. And I played it in that moment. It did not change my mind. A lot of the same frustrations continued, but we went back to it again. And I had somewhat of the same reaction.
You did. You had exactly. There was definitely, I mean, the game, it looked really beautiful. They really improved on some of the graphics. Yeah. Obviously, they perfected, like, you know, they remastered and perfected the classic Sonic games.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, where it's like, if you didn't like them from the beginning, I don't think this is a game that would change your mind, because it's exactly the same as the beginning.
It maybe magnifies your feelings for the original. So, like, if you like the originals, you'll really like this, because it's a great version of that.
But if you didn't like the originals, I don't know if it would.
Well, I didn't dislike it more, but it definitely did not it didn't feel significantly different.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, exactly. And
yeah.
we played those kind of like back to back too. We played. We played the originals.
That was the last game we played.
And then we played Sonic Mania, so we were fresh from playing the originals, and I did not see like a huge difference to it.
Right.
But I admit that it is like really well done. And they did perfect it. What the originals were doing.
Yeah. And I thought it was cool how they were so open in working with the Sonic community to make that game. Obviously,
that part of it was really
nothing
awesome.
Nintendo would ever do.
Yeah.
And it turned out great. I'm curious to see if they continue that into the future.
They seem to be super connected to their community.
Hey, if you're out of ideas, you got to turn outwards, right? I kid.
Oh, no.
No. Great. Well, it's wonderful to hear from our Patreon community. Coming up next, we have our big storytime segment with Katie, which we pre-recorded. Yeah. But for those wondering how I came to have these feelings for Sonic, all will be revealed here.
Yes.
And some really great insight into what it's like working on Sonic and how Katie got to be where she is.
Yeah, she has such an interesting story.
She is really like at the center of the public facing aspect of this series.
She's basically what you were to Nintendo.
Huh? Me? What about you?
Well, you were the head of social.
Uh-huh.
She does the social stuff for Sonic.
Right.
So she's like you and me wrapped up into one person at Sega, basically.
Yeah.
For Sonic.
But she is wonderful, and I think you're going to enjoy the segment. Yeah. So let's check it out.
Well, all right. We are very excited to be here with our special guest for Sonic Week, the one and only Katie. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Katie, and tolerating Kit. I know you don't tolerate me because I'm not the problem child, but you have tolerated Kit for a while now. But yeah, it's great to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Also, I more than tolerate you. You are the one who made Kit come and apologize to me at Summer Game Fest.
Oh, that's
right.
true.
For his dislike for Sonic.
I need to be like the mediator somehow for this, for the two of you, for Kit and Sonic.
We made up.
I was trying to think of how this even came to be, because it feels like it shouldn't. It feels like I should be on some blacklist, like do not engage. But, you and I had some back and forths on Twitter, good-natured, and then it was at Summer Game Fest where I finally met you, and we did settle our beefs. And here you are today, which is just wonderful.
And here I am today, yeah.
And you've been so kind to, like, regardless of Kit's opinions, you've always been so kind, and you've given us, Sonic codes and things like that. So thank you so much for putting up with him, and
Absolutely.
I guess in turn me.
I'm not giving up. He can be a fan.
I think we can rehabilitate. I think we can get to a better place than maybe he was when he was like 8. So
So I do want to share today kind of the starting point for where I ended up the way I did. But I kind of want to start with you, Katie, and kind of the path that you took. And what is your personal story with Sonic?
I mean, honestly, Sonic was there as long as I can remember. Our first console was a Sega Genesis. I was maybe 1 or 2 years old when I played it. They had the bundle that came with Sonic the Hedgehog. So that was the first console game I ever played. That is the game that kind of kickstarted my love for video games. And I just grew up with the brand. As I got older, I played the Sonic Adventure titles, and I have really good memories playing those with my older brother. I kind of fell off a little bit once I reached high school, college age, just kind of in video games in general. I fully immersed myself in my studies and then came back to it afterwards when Sonic Mania came out, and eventually somehow ended up here, which is another crazy story of its own.
Did you have other like non-Sega systems around you growing up as well? Because that's sort of where I ran into a bit of trouble, is like falling into some early console wars stuff. So I'm wondering if that was even a factor to you.
I did, yes. Actually, I had every Nintendo console starting at the Nintendo 64 and on, and PlayStation 1 through 4. So I had almost all of them. We didn't have Xbox consoles growing up, but everything else, I played everything. I enjoyed everything.
So when you were playing, like, for example, Mario, did you play Mario 64 on your Nintendo 64? So when you were playing Mario 64 and you were thinking about, like, a Sonic game or playing a Sonic game? Did those two games feel like they shared enough of your like heart space, sort of like you like them both equally, or yeah, I'm so curious about like where your where child you's head was when you were playing these like two different games on these two different systems.
That's a really good question. Honestly, I feel like I loved them the same. Like, I loved them for their differences. I loved how Sonic had like that great music and was so colorful, and there were so many different styles going on around that time. And I'm a huge platform nerd, so I loved all the Mario games. They really played to that for me. But I don't know, I don't remember kind of having any rivalry in my mind between them. I just thought they were both fun games. I was a very easy to please child in terms of video games.
I think you're much more healthy than both of us mentally. We might have had some like other traumas or something, because yeah, I think definitely the console war stuff like got into my head a little bit as well. I actually never owned any Sega systems when I was growing up. I was purely like, my parents would buy all my video game consoles for me, and they always picked a Nintendo system. So if I wanted to play any Sonic games, I was playing, over at a friend's house, but I was never like living with like the Genesis or something like that. And I think it's so interesting that like that was your first video game experience, because my first was Super Mario Brothers. So I wonder if that like had some sort of like path divergence at like a young age. Your first memory is probably like a very strong core memory.
It may have, and we did have cousins who had an NES and a Super Nintendo, so we could go over there, and I was still exposed to Super Mario World, which is still one of my favorite games, Donkey Kong Country. One of my favorites was Mario Paint. That was the one that made me be like, could we get a Super Nintendo? We never did, but I loved those as well.
For most of my life, I thought that Sonic was really the thing that I had the strongest objection to. But as I've been preparing for Sonic Week and going back and dredging up the past, I think my actual issue was with the Genesis marketing of that era, which was very like, you're with us or you're against us, and was very adversarial against Nintendo. And at that point, I'd had nothing but Nintendo systems, and that had absolutely captured my heart. So I really took it personally when I saw these commercials saying Genesis does what Nintendo don't, or doing these like side-by-side comparisons, like showing people like turning up their nose at a Nintendo system, be like, wow, Sonic's fast, that's what I want. That would really like drive me crazy. And I'll admit, like, my blood pressure went up as I was rewatching those commercials. And I think Sonic became like the symbol of that to me, where as I was, we went back and we played all these classic games this week. Like I didn't feel like the deep disdain for it that I thought I would. I think it's really just what Sega was doing in that era. I felt very personally attacked. And I think that's kind of getting at the root of how this all happened.
So we definitely went after the fanboys. Was your main problem? Okay.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, like I found like one where like this kid was getting bullied, and then he got a Genesis, and then he like became a bully himself. I was like, I don't know, there was something about the marketing of that era that really didn't sit well with me. And maybe that spoke to my social position at that time. But it was like, blast processing. And again, Sonic was always front and center. And there he was tapping his foot. And obviously it meant nothing. Like these console wars are just made up things that we have in our heads. And that was even before the internet existed. So I actually didn't have anybody to have this argument with. It was just entirely in my head. Like I had friends who had Genesis, I had friends who had Nintendo, I had friends who had both. But over time, this just became like more and more set in stone of like, I just don't like Sonic at all.
I feel like you've been holding this in for 30 years. And this is your therapy session for
it. Well, Krysta knows all about it, but it feels good to share with other people.
Yeah, no, I do know all about it. And I have heard this from you a lot, but I do feel like now that we've really sat down and played some of these games and experienced some of the music is really amazing in these games. Like seriously, I was shocked at how much I've missed not playing Sonic games because the music is so good. So there are these, like, I think, evening out of these sort of really ingrained emotions that I've seen kind of shift a little bit with Kit, which is kind of interesting. But the one thing I was wondering about, and I wondered, Katie, if you had a sense of this as well, since you're so much closer and you are a huge Sonic fan, is this idea of like Sega being sort of like what I guess like tougher or cooler or whatever with all the marketing that they were doing. Did you guys feel like it translated to the character where it's like, oh, now like because Sega is like cooler than Nintendo, does it mean like Sonic is cooler than Mario? Is that like a part of it too that made you like just killed you on the inside because you loved Mario so much? And maybe that's like part of Sonic's like attitude. Like because I did notice that playing the games, like he's not like Mario, right?
Right.
Like he like does tap his foot. He's like wagging his finger at you. He has like more of that like kind of like a bad boy, I don't know, demeanor. Whereas Mario is just like so like pure and wholesome. Like did that kind of, how did you feel about that, Katie? And then like for Kit, I guess, did that like make you even more upset with Sonic?
Yeah, I almost feel like it was the other way around, where Sonic's attitude is actually what kind of dictated the marketing. They're like, oh, here's this edgy character. He's very different from Mario, like you mentioned. Mario is kind of like the wholesome, brand safe character, whereas Sonic is just like, oh yeah, let's go kick some butt, let's go fight these guys, let's go fast, let's just do it. So they're like, how do we translate to what we're doing in other parts of our business? How do we do this in our marketing? How do we make it just kind of feel more cool and edgy, whereas a lot of other brands are playing it a little bit more safe? So it definitely worked for some people, clearly struck a chord with others, but I think that was probably the thinking of just, how do we make Sega as cool as Sonic is?
Yeah.
Well, it was clearly effective because it gave people, on both sides a strong reaction. Krysta knows this, and people who worked with me know. I had printed out in my office a printout of Genesis does what Nintendo don't as motivation. Was
it on a dartboard?
No, but it did have a thumbtack through it.
A thumbtack, yeah.
Right. And again, it's like, I don't know who this was directed at. It's like, I play all sorts of Sega games now. Like, I don't have animosity towards Sega, but it was just something that stuck with me over the years. But, again, we went back and we played these 9 games. I will say, like, there are some things about the Sonic gameplay that don't completely click with me. And I'd like to put those to you to see if you have any counter to, because maybe I'm just not in the right mind space as I think about these games, being a long time, Mario fan. So if you don't mind, I can go through these 3 things and we'll see what you think.
All right, let's go. I'll get my
the first. Let me open up this 1,000-page book.
Your
here.
encyclopedia.
I've always thought that the emphasis on speed makes it kind of like a style over substance kind of thing, where the game is pushing you to go fast and there's a lot that you are missing behind. And a lot of times you're like holding down the right, stick or the right side of the D-pad, and you're not doing that much else.
You're still
What say you, Katie?
You're still doing platforming and stuff. I think that's why they add like the different routes you can take. If you play the earlier titles, like you can go up, you can do the middle route, you can do the bottom route. So you can go fast through all of them. You can kind of optimize which way is best to go. It kind of adds that extra challenge and replayability. So even though you're going fast and you're going through these levels as quickly as possible, it still gives you a lot to do.
Yeah,
I was going to say, have you seen players that have done like really like perfect run-throughs? Because when I was playing, I'm so clunky, right? I'm not a very strong platformer to begin with, and the speed element of it's pretty challenging. Like, and then if you lose your momentum, you sort of lose, like you kind of lose your way a little bit through the level. But I was really curious, like, are there people that can just like flawlessly, I'm sure there are, like flawlessly like go through a level, get every ring, like get, you know, defeat every enemy and go at that speed? Have you seen that before?
I don't know if I've seen every single ring and enemy, but I have seen people just flawlessly go through levels. I've seen both glitchless where they're not like breaking the game at all. I've seen glitched where they are and it's just crazy. There are all kinds of speed runs, which are another fun thing to watch from the series.
Yeah, the size of the levels, like you mentioned, is very different to me, where, you know, like a lot of those classic Mario levels are very like short and sweet and to the point, but there are a lot of paths through these Sonic levels. And I think that, again, gave me sort of a sense of like, oh, am I going the right way, or did I get off track, or am I going to get lost? But it sounds like the mindset is like these are meant to be replayed and fully explored.
Yeah, you're meant to kind of struggle through a little bit on your first time to kind of find your way. And then after that, you can just keep going back and getting better and better. And then you get that sense of accomplishment once you do finally figure it out and you get that route down and you're just going so fast. It feels good once you get it.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can actually really, like, I think if you go through multiple times, like, you can definitely get that sense. And the scoring, too, they give you a score at the end that, you know, you're, like, wanting to beat it. So, yeah, that part of it totally makes sense.
Especially later on when they actually start grading you. Instead of just, like, here's a number score. It's like, you got an A rank, no, you got an E rank. Like,
oh no. That could be emotionally devastating in another way, but okay.
The last little critique I'll say is like there are some points where you do need to slow down and do some fine platforming. Like I'll say in like the chemical plant zone, like where there's like rotating things that you need to jump on, like it feels like the game is so geared towards speed that it can be hard to do those more fine motions, and that's where it also introduces the drowning, which I don't care to talk about.
Drowning is so sad.
The drowning is unpleasant. But I'm not. Again, do you just kind of get over that and get a feel for the character where you can really zip through those?
Eventually, yeah. I will say, as soon as you said chemical plant zone, I pictured that underwater part, and my heart started beating a little bit faster, and I was like, I start hearing the countdown in my head. I was like,
the countdown,
okay, keep listening.
The animation is also really sad too. It's like worse than the Pikmin drowning.
Splayed out, yeah.
He's all splayed out.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't Sonic swim? That's an interesting choice. That, you know, because a lot of these characters like Mario, Donkey Kong, like there's tons of these underwater levels. It's so interesting that was something that they just didn't want to do that.
He's got to have a weakness. And
okay.
Well, you did a great job of deflecting these critiques, and it sounds like the problem is me. I'm curious, like, what are your top 3 Sonic games?
Ooh, it's so hard for me to pick favorites of anything. I do have really close ties to the original game, Sonic, since that was the first console game I ever played, and I attribute a lot of my love for games in general to that. Sonic Adventure 2 is kind of a cop-out, but I loved it. I had a lot of great memories with my brother. I played in the Chow Garden for, I don't even want to know how many hours, how much my life was spent in there. And then let's see.
Those Sonic Adventure games really surprised me when I was playing them. I thought they were really good. Like, I legit want to continue with Sonic, the first one, because I was like, what's going to happen in the story? Like, it's cheesy, but in like the like cheesy fun, like summer movie flick kind of way.
Exactly. And what I love about them is that they had all those different playable characters and all these different stories, and you got so invested in the characters, which is something that I wasn't getting from a lot of different games around that time, was just all of the platforming and speed and stuff that I love, but also a really fun story to kind of tie you into everything. So, I don't know. Those games are really great for me. I'm trying to pick a third one. There's a lot that are in my top. I really enjoyed Sonic Unleashed and Generations, obviously Sonic Mania. The advanced titles, I would say, are up there, the Game Boy ones, because those are very similar to the Adventure series, but handheld. They had a tiny Chow Garden, so I think that's why I'm like...
This Chow Garden, which I have no idea what you're talking about, sounds very special to you.
We found some chows. We saved them.
Did you?
We
You
saved
saved
them.
them.
We did not.
We saved them and we left them behind in the garden.
They are the
Well, we'll be back.
adorable. How much time do we have here? How much?
As much as you need.
Well, Krysta is
Cow
obsessed with
garden. Don't give me that.
Tamagotchi.
I am.
So this might be up her alley.
I think you would
Yeah.
enjoy the Chow Garden then. It is
So do you like grow them? Is that or like take care of them? Is that the idea?
essentially, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They'll hatch from eggs. They're these cute little babies. You give them kind of the animals and chaos drives that you find in the main game. You can race
Oh.
them and just raise them to be adorable little creatures.
Oh, I love this. Yeah, see this that would be right up my alley.
Mhm.
I could envision myself spending a lot of time in the child garden as well then.
It really makes
Going
you want
back
to play
to
the game
the-
more.
With
Sorry,
the
go ahead.
Sonic Adventure games, I'm curious for somebody who was there like in the moment, like what were you thinking like as the series went from 2D to 3D? Because that was such like a make or break moment for so many series of like, oh, can they pull this off? And obviously, you know, Sonic had so many games in 3D and 2D after that. But like, what was the feeling in the moment as that was happening?
I was still about like 10 years old or so still very much a kid, very much in awe and wonder of everything happening in the video game world. So I was like, this is insane, this is amazing. Sonic is like revolutionized now, this is really cool. I never got the sense of like, oh, this is gonna be terrible or super wonderful. It was just like, this is another cool thing. Child me is happy.
Yeah, maybe
Those
it was,
games
your
did feel
age,
like they
too.
Yeah. It did feel like they translated what made the 2D games appealing into 3D while adding a lot more. So I those were the games that I was most intrigued to play, and I did come away wanting to play more of those.
Yeah.
This
And
is
the music
character
is really
growth. The music is very good.
so good. Like it was such a departure from like the original music for like Sonic 1, 2, 3 was also really good. But it's so different, the music for Sonic Adventure. I was like shocked, like with all the like the lyrics and like it just sounded like a soundtrack, like a movie soundtrack or just a regular album versus a video game music. So I was really surprised by that.
Yeah, that was something cool about those games. It's just how much more cinematic they got. Like they did add the story, they did add all that music that does sound like a soundtrack. So it felt more of like you're going through this almost movie experience, but you're the hero of it.
So we've heard your top 3 Sonic games. Is there one that you would say is like underrated, at least to you?
I do think the storybook titles are pretty underrated. So Sonic and the Secret
Oh, I don't
Queen,
even know what
Sonic
that
and the
is.
Black Knight.
Okay.
They were on the Wii.
Oh.
Mhm.
So what were they like?
They kind of put you in these stories. So like Sonic and the Black Knight, you're kind of put in Camelot, and all of the characters are kind of role-playing almost.
Oh, interesting. Oh, that's very interesting. I don't think I've even seen, I'm going to look up a trailer after this because that sounds pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like
if
a
there
lot
was
of people
somebody,
kind of
like-
missed them.
Yeah, for sure. Because I don't even remember hearing about it. So it must have been one of those things that got lost. And I had a Wii, but I never seen this or heard of this.
And if like, I don't know, if like an alien landed on Earth and was like, I want to get into Sonic, but I don't know where to begin. Like what is the perfect starting place? Is it just the latest game? Is it a 2D game? Is it a 3D game?
That's such a hard question. What does this alien like? Do they have games where they come from? Like, it really is
Let's
kind of
say-
a style choice.
Yeah. Let's say they're like, they've never played a video game before ever. What
Ooh.
Sonic game would you put in front of this alien?
We do have some really great modern ones. If you want to go with that 2D style, Sonic Mania is a perfect blend of the old titles with kind of a newer generation. And then most recently, Sonic Frontiers is a great one to jump into for the 3D games because it kind of harkens back to the Sonic Adventure era, but it also opens up to kind of the current and the future of gaming where it's a lot more open and just is kind of leading us towards the future.
So speaking of like just the legacy of the series, you know, it's remained iconic now for, I don't know, it's like 20, 25 years. I don't know exactly how long. Like, what do you attribute that to? Because it's obviously had some ups and downs, some changes in direction, but it seems like it's stronger than ever. And especially last year, it felt like we never went like a week or two where there was not some big Sonic news happening, and there was the latest movie and all this other merchandise. It kind of feels like it's really getting stronger. And I'm just curious, like, again, as a Sonic fan, like what makes it so enduring?
That's a good question. And it is getting stronger. And you're right. It did feel like last year we did have something every single week, which was really exciting getting to be part of that all. And I think it is just like Sonic's character and his attitude and the cast of characters and just how much people love all of these characters and seeing them succeed. Sonic was kind of an underdog for a little bit, where he was really great and really strong in the 90s. It kind of waned a little bit, and then he had a strong coming back several years ago. So I think everyone is just kind of cheering. Like, normally when a character loses popularity a little bit, it's very easy for them to just completely fall off. And you see brands just completely go away. But Sonic was able to kind of pull himself out of that. And we do have such a strong fan base that just rallies around him. And with so many successes that have been happening, it's just really cool to see the trajectory kind of go way back up again.
So you have a really central role at Sega as far as like interfacing with the community. Can you tell us a little bit about like everything that you do as part of your job?
There's a lot there. So I manage all the social media channels for Sonic on the global side of things. I manage influencer relations, community management. I co-host our live streams, so I have a lot of face-to-face with the fans. I will go to conventions. I kind of am helping out our lore team now as we're trying to kind of unify Sonic's universe a little bit. Kind of anything front-facing that's not specifically PR is under my umbrella, and just whatever is needed internally, I'm happy to help on.
You mentioned the lore stuff, and I saw there's like a new team that's being spun up, and I think that's a great approach for so many series and game companies to have. So many don't. Like, what is the goal with a team like that?
The goal is just moving forward to have everything unified, so someone can jump in at any point in the series moving forward, and they can consume any part of our media, and it all just feels connected and makes sense. And they don't necessarily need to consume every piece of media to understand everything. It'll just kind of enhance everything for them. But everything should make sense, kind of independent of each other.
That sounds like a really hard job to do, with just all of the different, like, even just thinking about the games, and there's so much more to Sonic than the games now. How do you even like get started with that? Is it like sort of organizing the universe and the storylines, or the characters? How does that kind of work?
Yeah, it's a really fun challenge. We kind of just threw everything on the table and said, okay, here's our history, here's all the games, the comics, the shows, the movies, here's everything we've done. What makes sense moving forward to kind of connect? Is there anything, like, there are some games that didn't really have a story. Should we consider those canon or not? Should we consider, like, these characters canon or not? And just kind of picking and choosing and cutting down so everything does mesh together. And if it doesn't, how can we make it kind of mesh if there is a way? So it's a lot of playing around with everything. The team is still working really hard. It's going to be really exciting to see things moving forward.
I imagine you in a room with like that big bulletin board and the yarn,
Red
like
string,
the
yeah.
crime board, that connects like all the stuff, and you're like working in the dark. Yeah, that's what I picture the lore team is doing.
That is actually exactly what it's like. We only get one light bulb too, so
okay,
add some drama.
Yeah.
Well, I think we really applaud that. As working at Nintendo, that was, I think, one of the shortcomings that we noticed, where there were always different teams, often working on the same property, but there wasn't necessarily a person or a team trying to unify everything. So even like asking questions from team to team, the level of information and knowledge, there was no foundation for that. So I'll admit that I'm surprised that Sonic is, one of the first to really put that at the forefront, but I think that's super, super valuable. So I tip my hat for that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very excited that we were able to move forward with that.
Yeah, it could be a good example for other brands to follow that model, because it's kind of crazy to think about. Like, not a lot of video game brands do that. I think, entertainment brands do this, like Marvel Universe has probably a team that does this, but interesting that on the video game side, it's not as common to see that.
One of the most common questions we get from our viewers and listeners is like, they want to know people's stories of how they got into the video game industry. Would you mind sharing your story with us?
I feel like mine is very interesting. So I actually went to college for computer science, and I got a job in tech immediately after college. I was in software and web development for 5 or so years. And on the side, I of course still loved video games. I had a huge backlog of games. So I kind of dabbled in Twitch streaming a little bit, stream a few times a week. It was a way to play my games, to kind of hang out with the community. And then through that, I started going to gaming conventions like PAX. And it was kind of through all of that I met the old social media manager here, Aaron Weber. And I met him at PAX West one year. We kind of connected, became acquaintances. Eventually, a few years down the line of kind of like meeting each other at these conventions, he mentioned that he was hiring for his team. And I very jokingly told him I was going to apply so that he would have to work with me. He laughed, didn't say anything, and I was like, cool, I just freaked this person out and left. And then a few weeks later, he messages me and he's like, actually, you should apply for this position. I think you'd be a good fit. And I was like, okay, this is a joke, but sure, he's my friend, I'll do that. They're not going to actually interview me. And now I've been here for 4 years. So kind of an interesting workaround where my Twitch streaming, I think, helped a lot, and being able to kind of cultivate a community, knowing a lot about the game industry, just being a fan of games for my entire life. It all just kind of came together somehow. So not your standard way of getting into the industry, but it's been fun.
That's amazing. That's such an incredible story. I think it goes to show that the industry, I feel this too, and we get a lot of questions about this. Like, do I need certain degrees, or do I need to take, certain courses to get into the video game industry? But I think the video game industry is actually one of the more like open industries where, like, if you have passion and you have, the willingness to learn, like it's very much like opportunistic, and that's kind of what happened with our careers too. It's like you were kind of put into these different positions. Maybe you didn't have the exact degree or the background for it, but I think we're all, obviously all three of us are really passionate about games, and we love everything video game. So it definitely helps when you're that person in the industry. So it's so cool.
Yeah, you can definitely get the soft skills needed, not through a degree.
Yeah.
And that definitely helps.
Yeah, we always tell people to just go for it, because a lot of times it's like, well, I don't know if I'm the right fit, or, I have this self-doubt. But I feel like there's just so many stories of success stories of people who have gone for it and, shown all of their great qualities and had that really work out. So yeah, I love hearing these stories.
It's a fun one to tell, because as soon as I start and say like, oh yeah, I'm a computer science major, they're like, what? How are you in social media? That makes no sense.
Would you ever be interested in going into like game development with your computer science background at all? Or do you like the social media side now more?
That's a really good question. I don't know if I would want to do like the actual game development as in being one of the programmers. I think like game production could be a next step for me.
Yeah.
It's kind of just figuring out as I go.
Yeah, that would be really cool, because I think a lot of people, would ask us to like, oh, if you could develop a game, or like if you could be a game developer, what would you do? And we will always like kind of shrug, because we have no idea, like we have no background in this at all. And it is like such a different skill set. That's the one I think you do need a degree in that area to be a game developer. But you have kind of both sides of the experience now. So that could be really interesting.
Mm-hmm. And I do actually think that it helps in this industry having that experience, because it also helps me talk with developers here. And it kind of helped me liaise between the community and the developers to understand like what is possible with game development, but also kind of showing them what the community wants and kind of knowing what the boundaries would be.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's a good opening line. Can see why they hired you.
Thank you.
So you kind of went through all the different things that you're responsible for, which are pretty similar to the things that we were doing when we were at Nintendo. What's something that people might not know or they might not realize about one of the things that you do as part of your job?
Ooh, in what way? Just like, I'm
just
surprised
like,
social media manager.
Like, oh, well, it takes us, X weeks to make this Sonic meme, or something like that. Some little, behind the scenes secret that people might not realize.
I mean, some memes do take a while. Some I think of and I have something comped up in 10 minutes and I just go with it. And I'm just like, I hope legal doesn't get mad.
It's always legal. What's the deal with legal?
How dare they protect the brand?
Yeah, they need to protect.
Right. A lot of things do take a lot longer than people realize. Like, we'll, on our live streams, ask fans what they want to see, and we'll take their feedback and we'll bring it back to the teams. But it may be 1, 2, 3 years before any of that can actually be implemented realistically. So it's not that we're not listening to people, it's just that a lot of things do take time.
Yeah, I think that is also another difference between maybe what you're doing at Sega and what we were doing at Nintendo is like, it does feel more like of a community two-way dialogue that you guys have, which is something that we wanted to do at Nintendo, but it was very hard for us to do that. Nintendo has always been such like a sort of a, can't see behind the curtain kind of brand, but I think you guys have probably a bit more freedom to like talk to your community, and then like there is sort of like an understanding that if you bring this feedback back to your development teams, they will like really seriously consider it. So yeah, that's something that I'm a little jealous of because we never got a chance to do that at Nintendo. So
yeah, I do feel very grateful that we are kind of able to have that open dialogue. And I do understand wanting to keep things tight-lipped, and it makes things more exciting when things are announced. But there are benefits and negatives to both.
Well, I think we've really learned a lot here today, and I'm continuing on my journey as a person and as a Sonic. I don't know what to call myself now. A Sonic acknowledger, something. Again, it's something. I'm moving through a process here.
You're not an ally yet. You don't think?
Yes, there we go.
An ally.
That's what I will be. I'm a Sonic ally.
That's a good word. I like that. Right? That sounds positive.
It is.
Was that a game? Sonic Allies? That sounds like a game.
I'm writing that down.
We are having such a great time on Sonic Week, and thank you for being a part of it. If people want to find what you are up to online, where can they find you?
You can find me either on all of Sonic's channels, so twitter.com/Sonic_Hedgehog. You can find us on twitch.tv/Sonic, youtube.com/Sonic. Or you can find me on my personal channels, twitter.com/Katie, KATIECHRZ, Katie Kriz.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being with us here today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was fun. And I'm excited to hear your Sonic story and your favorite Sonic titles that you've been playing this week.
Yes, yeah. Sonic Week is going great. And thank you for being a part of it.
Thank you.
Genesis does 16-bit arcade graphics. You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis does 16-bit arcade action. You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis does. Genesis does. Genesis does. Genesis does. Genesis does 16-bit arcade hits. You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis does what Nintendo does. The 16-bit Genesis system by Sega. Genesis does it all.
And we're back. Katie's so wonderful.
She's like the sweetest person ever. And it was so cool to hear, how she became the mega Sonic fan that she was.
Right.
And hearing it is just so like, it feels just like one of those like flip a coin, like, what is that Batman villain? Or
Two-Face.
Two-Face.
Yeah.
It feels like that. We're like, where your life, everyone's life is like that or the other is, Mario or Sonic. It's so interesting. But and I think we came to the conclusion from that conversation that it was the marketing. Yeah. It was the marketing that got us.
Yeah, I really did have an epiphany, and I wonder if people are feeling like that's all it was. But it I was able to finally separate how I feel about Sonic versus what was happening to me at that part of my life where I felt personally under attack.
Right.
This important part of my life felt under attack by this outside force.
Right.
And Sonic became
the face of
the
that.
symbol of that. So I projected all of my retributional dislike towards Sonic, when in fact I think that was maybe a little bit misguided. So 30 years later, we got to the bottom of something.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is the dangers of marketing for a young child.
This is also the dangers of the console wars, which are really stupid.
They are really stupid.
Easy to fall into when you're younger and you don't have as many choices. And people are out there saying ridiculous things. It's easy to fall into that. But look,
there we have it.
If I can grow, I can grow and change and get over it, anybody.
You can too.
Right.
This is what we're talking about with our other console war discussion as well. Like it's probably all really young kids,
right?
Because these are the people most affected deeply by this kind of like conversation,
right?
Which is actually kind of unfortunate because it's just like. We shouldn't do this. Like, it's
like, you know why I don't care? Because I can afford and buy all 3 consoles. Big deal.
Exactly.
So it's like,
but a 9-year-old is not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, you're probably locked into one.
Yeah, for like a long time.
Right.
Yeah, for like years and years and years.
Yeah. Unless you were like that rich kid that we all knew growing up who had like a Neo Geo and like, it's like, what's with this guy?
And that tiny Mercedes that you can drive around.
Yeah, it's like, what's going on? What's the deal with this guy?
Well, Daddy's got money.
Yeah, Daddy travels a lot, yeah.
Daddy, though. Daddy Steve Jobs. Yeah. Anyways, but yes, thank you so much, Katie, for coming on to the podcast.
Yeah.
You're wonderful.
There is really, like, she is really a good person for putting up with this. Like, there's definitely, like, I'm probably whoever her predecessor was in that job was probably like, put this guy on the blacklist. Let's just do whatever we can to antagonize him. Let's make his life a nightmare. But no, she welcomed us into the fold, so thank you for that.
Yes, she really has.
For our Never a Minute segment, we're doing something zany.
Oh boy, I'm looking at a picture and I'm already very confused.
So we would like to react to Sonic memes, and we're going to do it. Memes are obviously a huge part of the Sonic experience. A lot of I'd never seen pretty much all of these before, so we're going to react to them. We got like maybe 10 or so of them. We're going to go through these.
We're going to go through these. Obviously, if you're watching, we'll put the memes up in the video, but if you are listening on audio, we'll describe the meme to you.
Yeah. So
number one.
This first one I got myself. The rest of them we pulled from folks on Patreon.
What the heck is this?
Now, something that I was told early in my career, as I started to work with different people, and some of which were Sonic fans, they said, you can put any name, blank the Hedgehog, into Google, and there will be some sort of original artwork for that.
Really?
So whatever your name is, that name, the Hedgehog, put that into Google, there'll be something. And after I heard that, I kind of fiddled around and put in some different names. And it's true, there always was. So we've done that for us. I put in Kit the Hedgehog and Krysta the Hedgehog.
Ew!
That's all you have to work with, audio listeners. Ew. Let's start with me. So I put in Kit the Hedgehog. I have this kind of like...
It's like an Egyptian?
It's like an Egyptian mummy.
Yeah. The background is like hieroglyphics. You're in this mummy wrapped outfit.
I did cross. So this is actually only half the image. The other half is it's some strange sayings that I was like, I don't know if this is like weird or offensive. I don't know what this means. So I cropped it out.
Cropped it. Okay.
Yeah, because I was a little nervous about it.
Cancel just in case.
I was just a little nervous
by some like racial hieroglyphics.
Because I don't know what this means. Anyhow, there's me, Kit the Hedgehog, kind of a teal color.
Yeah, very very big.
Yes, confident, fearsome.
What is this thing called? His like quills?
Quills.
Yeah,
yes.
the quills are massive here.
So that's me. You though, Krysta the Hedgehog. Wow.
That is concerning for me. This is very concerning.
You have a mini skirt and some
socks?
Toe socks?
Toe socks.
What do you call these?
I think so, because you got 3 toes somehow.
And some sort of a crop top.
Yep.
It's quite a. It looks like you got a toothpick in your mouth.
Also. Yeah, feels a little like. Feels a little bit like tough girl.
I think Krysta the Hedgehog might be a little down on her luck.
Oh my!
I don't know.
This is a little disturbing,
and
for sure.
There were actually some others for Krysta the Hedgehog, believe it or not, that kind of were obviously not in this same style, not from the same person, but in this genre, I would say.
Really?
Of somewhat suggestive.
Did you spell her name? Is it spelled?
Of course
correctly?
it is.
Okay.
Of course it is. Okay. I know how to spell your name.
I'm just making sure. It is Kit and Krysta.
Jeez. That would happen sometimes at work, where somebody would send an email to somebody they've worked with for like a decade and misspell their name.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That happens to me all the
Like,
time. People misspell my name all
That's
the time.
like the ultimate disrespect.
You know, it's in the email signature.
And you know who this person is.
And it's also in the email address.
You've worked with them for a decade.
Yeah.
Get that right.
That's pretty weird.
That should be like immediate, like you're fired. If you do that. Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
I don't care.
Take 1 second, right?
Yes.
To learn someone's name. Anyways.
Right. Anyhow, Krysta the Hedgehog, there's a lot to... also kind of the same color, though. Kind of tealy.
The teal.
Yeah.
It could be... I mean, I wish I was Egyptian. Like an Egyptian mummy. And not this like...
This one had no background at all.
No, it was just like it was just nothing. Just floating in space. Oh, man. This is... I can't look at this anymore. It's weird, man.
You can't, but somebody else will. All right. Our next... This is pulled from a video. So this is Sonic talking to... This is Amy Rose, I believe is the character's name.
Yes, she's here
I don't know
somewhere.
what creature Amy Rose... Oh,
she's also a hedgehog, I believe.
Is it true?
I think
Are you sure?
No.
Because there was another one in one of the Sonic Adventure games, one of the more sultry characters.
Oh, sultry, yeah.
Turned out to be a bat.
Okay, I don't know.
They're not all
tell
hedgehogs.
me who Amy
We got an
Rose...
echidna. Who's this? This looks like a rhinoceros fella or thing.
Yeah.
You got a crocodile. Anyhow, Sonic says, "Hey, I heard you like Bad Boys." Amy says, "Yeah, why?" "Not to brag, but I'm literally bad at everything." And Amy says, "Meet me at 8." Great. There was a lot of this, like, fan-dubbed videos on YouTube that were sent our way.
There was also, like, fan fiction that was, like, not safe for work fan fiction.
Well, a lot of these fan-dubbed videos were not safe for work either.
Oh.
Yeah. And therefore not safe for this podcast. No. I mean, Krysta the Hedgehog is barely...
Well, Fire Emblem characters.
Barely
so we're
cutting
good.
it.
As long as you have more clothes on than a Fire Emblem character, you can pass the test to be on this podcast. Anyways, but yeah, there is a lot of this, like, Sonic definitely feels very adult in a lot of these.
Well, if you're making up the voices, you can have him be whatever you want.
But the expressions are also very...
What's with the nose and... Why is his nose sticking out like that here?
I don't know.
It's not normally
weird.
like that, is it? Oh, I guess maybe it is, actually. In Kit the Hedgehog, it is.
You're just seeing it from like a... Yeah, it is.
I'll be honest, I don't really like that.
The expressions, though, it's like Sonic is giving her like the bedroom eyes here, and it's.
But he's also doing this like against the locker, like
that's the scary. You can't get away. You have to go under the arm. Girls, go under the arm, okay, and then you kick him right in the. That's how you get away.
Right in the rings.
Right in the family jewels.
Right in the Chaos Emeralds.
Or the Chow Garden. Right in that Chow Garden. Okay, anyways.
Next.
Kids.
This is in the, what is this meme format? This is the classic, this is like the Facebook meme format or something.
It's like the classic meme format.
Yes.
You get side-by-side image. One is classic Sonic in front of like, Green Hill left stage. And then you get movie Sonic
Yeah.
from the Sonic movie. And the caption says, kids today getting their video game turned into a movie, get this. And then on the bottom says, kids in my day got this, and it's a Goomba and this really, really ugly, disgusting, toothless.
Well, it's got teeth.
Or like...
They're little and sharp.
Little like...
Yeah.
Toothpick teeth, whatever.
I have famously never seen the original Super Mario Brothers movie.
Right.
I actually think this picture of the Goomba, I think I saw this in a Nintendo Power.
It's horrifying.
And I was like, I'm so out on this.
It's horrifying.
Insulting.
Why? Why did this exist?
Yeah.
But yes, that's pretty funny. I think movie Sonic is actually really cute after they fixed the ugly.
I agree.
But movie Sonic
Yeah.
is
I was going to say,
adorable.
this is, I think you could probably do a flip side of this with, janky original Sonic and something
Yeah.
else. And maybe movie
Movie
Donkey Kong or
Donkey
whatever,
Kong.
movie Peach.
Yeah.
Movie
Sonic though, we were saying, well, watch the movie reaction, but we were saying they should definitely do the baby Sonic.
Yes.
Baby Sonic was pretty cute.
Get some Baby Sonic
Baby
merch
Sonic.
out. People
We
would
need
love
Baby
that.
Sonic. All right.
All right, next we have a three-parter here. It says Where Girls Cried, and there's the end scene of Titanic, where Leo.
Which you've never seen.
I've also never seen that movie.
Can't believe that you.
I don't have 9 hours to watch this.
You should watch it in like increments.
Well, spoiler alert for me. I guess I don't need to.
Well, obviously that happens.
By Leonardo DiCaprio.
So hot.
Yes, I'm a student of history. And then we have Where Boys Cried, and we have the scene
Fast and
between
Furious.
Vin Diesel and CG Paul Walker.
Oh, that's pretty
That's
sad.
definitely an emotionally
Girls cried for that
heart-wrenching scene. And then finally, Where Men Cried, and we have Sonic doing some crazy electrical move here.
From the Sonic movie.
Outstanding work. High level. S tier.
I laughed.
This is a good
and I'm
one.
still laughing. I laughed when I first saw this. I'm still laughing now.
Did you cry at this Titanic scene?
Oh, yeah.
Really? What was it like in the movie theater when this was happening?
Was
Was everybody crying?
I think a lot of people were crying.
Oh.
I watched it with my mom. She cried.
Was she
too.
crying?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I cried at that scene too. The scene with CG Paul Walker. That's really
It's a
sad.
very well done scene. I have seen that movie.
Did you cry?
I did not cry. No. But I was like, wow, that is
didn't
that is
cry?
emotional. No.
What's wrong with you?
No.
Yeah, not even a little bit?
Just look at Vin Diesel's face and I don't feel like crying.
Do you have a little misty? Is it because you're thinking about family?
I'm not, family. This next one I like too.
Also,
Another three-parter.
Another three-parter.
Yes. The pupil can expand up to 55% when you look at something you love. And
That's
we have,
actually true. I did that experiment in science class, in biology class in high
Really?
school. Yeah.
What did you look at? A picture of Leo DiCaprio? I got you there.
Probably like a puppy or
What's a
something.
good edge on
like
girls?
a puppy.
So we have a normal human eyeball. Then we have Detective Pikachu, and it's just all black.
The pupil has expanded all the way.
The eye is all black. And then we have original pre-fix
Ugly
movie Sonic, and it's like you can barely see
It's
the
like a
pupil.
pinhole pupil.
That's funny.
Oh my gosh. Look at Detective Pikachu, though.
Detective Pikachu's
It's
eyes
so cute.
are also basically all black.
Well, anything cute has
So
big
maybe he's-
pupils.
The dead eye, like the Funko Pop eyes, though?
A little dead.
Yeah, a little
But
dead.
he has a reflective, his eyes are reflective.
Right. Sonic has green eyes, which is interesting because most Nintendo characters have
blue eyes.
I wonder
Yeah.
how they chose green. I'm sure there's a reason.
Well, because he's blue, so maybe
Well, he
they
is blue.
wanted to choose
You can go
something
all
that's
blue.
not blue, so they're
Yeah.
all blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is weird that a lot of Nintendo characters have blue eyes.
It's true. We did that once. And like,
That's
who is it? Who is it? Who is it?
weird.
You know who else got blue eyes? Me.
Whatever. But like, yeah, Link is Link.
Link has blue eyes.
Mario.
Pretty much all the
Peach.
Mario characters have blue eyes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just a thing.
Wow.
Style guide.
Style guide.
You're making a new character, must have
Blue eyes. All right. The next one is also from the Sonic movie, a scene where he's standing and there are like 100 missiles homed in, pointed at poor Sonic. And the meme says, when you express an unpopular opinion.
This is the old design? I couldn't tell, actually.
I can't tell because Sonic is a little bit far away, and I can only tell when you look at the teeth.
His legs look a little bit too long.
The legs do look
Right,
long because
but-
in the movie he's really short.
Yeah.
Remember we were looking, we're like, oh, he's like smaller than we thought he was.
Yeah. This is not my favorite one. This is definitely something that like your great grandmother might share without fully understanding what it is. Just like, yeah, just share it, whatever.
This is where like, someone really old is like searching through the Giphy on Apple, the messaging or whatever, and just like whatever. Cute.
I just took my Tuesday dosage of about 9,000 pills, and now I'm getting on the internet. It's great.
And then the forums, people.
Now, this next one is interesting because these seem to be two different memes that go together.
Oh.
I didn't realize this. So the first one, the text is the same for both. Hey, can I borrow your homework? Yeah, just change it up a bit so it's not obvious that you copied. All right, thanks. And then we have... Now, I don't know enough about Dragon Ball to say what
Super Saiyan Goku.
Is that exactly who that is?
I believe so,
okay.
Yes.
And Super Saiyan Sonic.
Yeah. Which we saw it happening when we played the games. He did go Super Saiyan with the blonde.
Oh, now were these the Chaos? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think they said there were 7 of these. But these aren't emeralds at all. That's a blue.
Do you know that emerald is my birthstone?
I didn't know that.
There you go.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Maybe I should get a
You
Chaos
don't know?
Emerald.
Oh. You should get...
Like a Chaos...
What if you got one of those fat, like, Sonic head, like, bejeweled...
But with the Chaos
like
Emeralds?
Like the uncut gem ones?
Yeah.
But with Chaos Emeralds.
I should get that.
Wow.
Someone get that for me.
And for the green eyes could be Chaos Emeralds.
Is that because he's chaosed?
Look, I don't know.
I don't know what's
but yes,
happening.
I'm sorry, those are not emeralds. Then the next one, again, same thing. Hey, can I copy your homework? Sure, just make sure it looks different so it doesn't look like you copied it. Sure thing. And you have the Super Saiyan Sonic, and then Big Cat Mario from Bowser's Fury. Oh.
Oops. So we're just copying. The evolution is that Sonic copied from Dragon Ball, and then Nintendo
Mario copied Sonic.
So we're playing a game of copy telephone.
I don't believe that's what happened, but sure.
I think it just. I mean, anytime you make anything glow like that, it just looks cool. So everyone's going to use that.
The next thing, I don't know.
Yeah, this is very confusing.
I was unclear about whether to include this because I don't know if it's traditional meme material, but it's
an infographic.
This is more of an infographic about the Sonic cycle, which is something that I have truly subscribed to over the years. And I don't know, it could be informative if you don't know. I think most people probably know about it. But it's basically like you see a new game, it looks cool, people start to get hyped, you see a little bit more, you start to get a little bit worried, and then the game comes out and it's bad. But then the cycle starts again, and people get excited. And when Sonic Frontiers came out, I made a reference to the Sonic cycle, which I was wrong about.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Goes to show.
You can be proven incorrect, even though this has happened multiple times before.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
There you go. This one, we have a fun story about this one.
Yes. So this is the iconic Sonic popsicle with the bubblegum eyes.
But the eyes are always like off-centered.
Somewhere else.
Yeah. So they have a picture of the actual popsicle with the eyes just completely melted into the ice cream. And then the packaging with the eyes not where it should
also
be.
out off-center.
Yeah. The gumball eyes.
Have you ever had one of these?
I absolutely have.
Really?
I love...
What is the flavor of this? Oh, it says blue raspberry.
Blue raspberry with a bubble gum.
Is there such thing as a blue raspberry in real life? Then how did we come up with this? Blue raspberry.
The 90s. I think Jolly Rancher invented that flavor. And then now we have it in
But it doesn't taste like a raspberry either.
It tastes like sugar.
So what are we doing?
It tastes like sugar. Literally
all right.
sugar.
Just call it like razzmatazz or something.
Well, why does it have to be raz?
I don't know. Just like make up a name.
Why can't it just be like blue matazz?
Purple raspberry, blue raspberry.
Why are you saying raspberry still? If it's not a raspberry, and that was your complaint in the first place. If you're to remedy your complaint, you have to take out the word raspberry.
Fine, razzmatazz.
You're saying raz.
Razzle dazzle.
You're saying raz. Stop it.
I'm razzing you. I have had not this one, but a Ninja Turtles one that was kind of the same deal.
Oh yeah, that one's good
and also the gumballs were. Why can't they get these gumballs right?
Because it's hard in ice cream because it
it
moves around. It's like
Sega, step in and do something about this. Shut this down until we can get this right.
Do we have any Pokemon?
Pull the plug on this factory.
Whoa. Do we have Pokemon popsicles that get it right? Because they're very concerned.
They know. They saw this and they're like, no.
They know better about
keep your
Pikachu.
Dirty mitts off of my Pikachu.
Yeah. I do like ice cream truck ice cream a lot. It's like If there's an ice cream
There used
truck,
to be an ice cream truck that would come to the office.
I would always go down and get
And
one.
we would hear it.
We
Like,
would run down the stairs.
Is that weird that an ice cream truck would come to that office park? It's kind of weird.
Why is it weird? It's whimsical.
It's a little weird. I don't know.
You never would go. I would have run down there with my money.
Wait.
Wait! But the funny story that we have is we know somebody that we used to work with that has a really
Who used to work on Sonic the Hedgehog, we should say.
That's right.
Yeah.
Who has a tattoo of the popsicle.
I wonder if she'd let us share a picture of that here.
Yeah, I'll ask her. I think it's really cool because she used to work on Sonic.
It's
actually she has a lot of really awesome tattoos, but I think this one's one of my favorites.
It's
really creative.
Good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome. Okay.
All right, this next one, I don't know if this is a meme. It's definitely Nightmare Fuel.
I hate this one.
This came from our own Captain Alex. I don't really know what to say about this.
It's like Cirque du Soleil Sonic.
Well, sometimes people would do like the realistic Mario, and he would look a little weird. But this is
horrifying.
This is like the Cats movie.
Ugh.
This is kind of like that.
So this is Sonic in a giant ring, but like in a very realistic, like animalistic way. It's all like lanky. His face is really messed up.
But it's in some sort of like rubberized spacesuit.
It's in like some sort of exactly.
Vulcanized, rubberized.
Yeah, and the face though, is disgusting.
Yeah. And
I can't look at it.
It's like looking directly at you too.
And it has a weird expression on its face too.
I don't
It's
like
disgusting.
It. Yeah. All right, we got two more to go.
This one. This is funny.
The text is time traveler moves a rock, the timeline, and we have kind of Mario in the style of Sonic, and Sonic in the style of Mario. I gotta say, I don't hate the Sonic in the style of Mario.
Oh, so cute.
Fat, which I like.
It's a little chonky. It has a kind of a Yoshi feel to it, which I like.
Yeah.
I like that.
Looks very happy.
And then we have Mega Man and Sonic.
We haven't talked about Sonic Mario.
Oh, sorry.
Which is an atrocity.
Sonic Mario is horrifying. Sonic Mario looks like a Looney Tune character gone completely wrong. Or like a Tiny Toon. Remember that show, the Animaniacs?
Yeah.
That's what Sonic Mario looks like.
There have been some attempts to make Mario a little more edgy. Like
Strikers?
The tribal tattoo Mario that they did a GBA for, which again apparently that's canon that Mario has this awful tribal tattoo. That's why he's wearing long sleeves
at the beach. Wait, when he was
he didn't have it. Yeah, good.
Broken.
They got rid of that. Good.
Broken. He didn't have that or a belly button.
He had a belly button ring?
No, he didn't have.
What?
Did he not have nipples? Belly button.
He definitely had those.
Did he have belly button? What were we arguing about?
He had it all.
We were looking at the nipples.
Yes,
and
we were.
We were concerned about them.
And I think even like Mr. Koizumi talked about it.
Yeah, there's a video of him talking about nipples, and he said I didn't think I was going to be talking about this today or something. It was really funny.
Liar, first of all.
Yeah, you put them there. What do you know?
He's like, this is going to get him talking.
It's like sipping that artisanal coffee.
Wait till they get a load of this.
All right.
Bam.
And nipples. Okay, and then there's the image underneath that is even
face
more.
Swap.
Is even more disgusting, which is Mega Man and Sonic shaking hands, but Mega Man has Sonic's face and Sonic has Mega Man's face.
Sonic Mega Man kind of looks like Mickey Mouse.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't it look, it's just like the Mickey Mouse face.
If we put the ears on it, it would look
What's
like
the difference between Sonic's face, not his head, but his face, and Mickey Mouse's face?
Okay, we'll do a side-by-side here.
Not a lot. And then Mega
Man Sonic looks like a Cuphead character.
Looks like a garbage pail kid. Is what it looks like. This is absolutely a garbage pail kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, we'll include reference images.
Yeah.
Wow. Some of these memes are absolutely hilarious. My favorite. What's your favorite one? My favorite one is the when girls cry. When
that's
boys
a
cry.
very good one. Yeah. I also like the one after with the eye. That one's good. Well, this is just the edumacation that we needed.
Oh man, I'm like crying.
We've been schooled.
It's funny.
Kit the Hedgehog, Krysta the Hedgehog. Nice to meet you. I'll never see you again.
Disgusting.
Delete you.
Disgusting.
All right. Wonderful. We can now talk about some games that we're playing.
Yeah.
So we want to talk a little bit more about some of these Sonic games. We got some non-Sonic games.
Yeah. So we'll start with the Sonic games. So again, we played all 9, and then we both went back. And you played a little bit more of Sonic Adventure.
I played a bit more of both of those.
Yeah, I played a little bit more of Sonic Adventure. I also played a little bit more of Sonic Mania.
Oh.
Because I had already had that on Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I would say that the things that didn't click with me before still kind of didn't.
Yeah.
And even like I was reading comments from the video of us trying these games for the first time, and a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, you guys have made so many mistakes." I'm like, I know. I understand that, but I don't know like what I'm doing. And it's not intuitive to me, like what I'm supposed to do. And I was even asking Katie, I was like, I want to see someone do it perfectly. Like, I want to see some like expert playthrough of these levels, because they are forcing you to do like two very opposite things. One is to go really fast, and one is to like explore these levels, which is challenging, I think.
True, yes. I also went back and I played Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Oh, yeah.
Some more, and it was the same thing where I got hung up in that chemical plant.
The chemical plant.
And there were a lot of things where it's like, unless you had memorized the stage and knew something was coming, like you just die randomly. Or also in that scene where it's easy to drown, where there are those rotating blocks, you can also get like squished really easily and die.
And it's weird because the blocks are going so slow. It's like you shouldn't be.
Right. And it's like
it's weird. It's like a weird timing.
I understand that mechanic, but like the hitbox is very big, I guess. So it's like I don't think I got squished there, but I did anyway.
Right. Exactly.
The Sonic Adventure games are very interesting, though, because I think there's a lot to really like there. But I think it has, the same issues that every 3D platformer had at that time with the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, the camera's tricky.
It can get locked in to one angle sometimes.
Yeah, it's like, well, the thing really I need to see, I can't see because the camera won't let me.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But the other parts of that game is really good. Like, the story is really interesting. It's like, it totally does remind you of, like, a cheesy, like, movie that you watch just because it's cheesy and funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has, like, that kind of humor and those kinds of cutscenes and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm like you, where, playing these games was definitely informative, but it didn't really change my mind. But again, now I don't have the vitriol, and it's just like, all right, well, Sonic is just, one of these series that doesn't click with me.
Someone send me, like, videos of someone doing the levels perfectly. I want to see. Who do you know, people of the internet? Send it to me. I want to see someone do it perfectly, because I don't know, like, what it's supposed to look like.
Right, right. There was also a lot of talk about, in Sonic 3, Michael Jackson's potential involvement in that soundtrack, which was a really interesting kind of storyline to go down.
Yeah.
Where, like, they kind of... a lot of it is still, like, to this day, very... He said, she said. There's nothing, like, really definitive about it.
Yeah.
But
is it like Robin Williams voices the genie in Disney? He didn't want anybody to know about it.
I thought everybody knew that.
I think he didn't want people to know that.
He wasn't credited in Aladdin?
I think so. Or I feel like there was like some controversy around that.
Well, I think people would have known.
I think people would have known because it's pretty obvious.
Yeah. That's interesting, though, because we did definitely like the music from that game, and it sounded very different from the last two games.
And we did say that it sounded very current.
Yeah.
Like, it sounded like the music of the time. So if that was because of involvement of, like, current, pop stars or whatever, like, that could have been it, That could have been the reason why. But yeah, anyways.
Yeah. So I think we're going to keep going with Sonic Adventure 1 and 2.
Yeah. And then, obviously, we're about to stream Sonic Frontiers. So... I'm very excited to now dive into like the latest Sonic game.
Right.
With the history that we have now and some like
my expectations high.
Really high. And you guys like that game, so I want to see. And I'm like interested in this.
Yes.
And it looks really pretty, so I'm excited to see that. Okay.
But the big main course this week is Fire Emblem Engage.
Yes.
Which we have both been playing.
Yeah.
And I think enjoying.
Yes.
Yeah?
Very much. Yeah.
Okay.
So we both started Fire Emblem Engage, and we were joking about how we were like kind of not excited for this game until recently, and then obviously now that we're in it, it does feel good, especially for me. It feels really good to be like kind of settled into another Fire Emblem game. Like the first part of the game obviously is like a ton of tutorial and all that stuff. It's like I wish they would really let you skip that stuff because. If you are a long time Fire Emblem fan, is there a button you could just put in? that says like go to this chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know how this works. But anyways, now that I'm through the tutorial, I feel like I'm actually in the game now. It feels good. Like it feels like a familiar Fire Emblem game. And it's, it looks really beautiful. The stories.
It looks awesome.
It really does. The only thing I will say is that some of the cutscenes almost look like so good that it feels like out of place.
Oh, well, it's
the style is different.
I think it's pre-rendered.
I know.
Versus something that the game is actually rendering.
Right.
But I don't think it's that. They also have some things that are like illustrations.
Right.
That are in a slightly different style.
Yeah, the styles are different.
That obviously it's static. It doesn't move.
Right.
That they'll do to like illustrate a really key scene, but they've really like perfected that art style, and it's so colorful
it's really
and
colorful.
vibrant.
Yeah. Agreed.
I really loved that. It's one of the earlier settings where you can see off in the distance. There's like a big castle, and there's these huge boulders on this very green field.
Usually the first battle you're in,
right.
And even like when you're inside, they do the lighting so well in those spaces.
Yeah,
it's like really beautiful, like sunlight like cascading through the windows and stuff.
But also like the faces of the characters are very expressive, and they all look really unique. I would have never before Awakening, I would have never said like, Fire Emblem's going to have like a really killer presentation.
Yeah.
It's like it's going to focus on the mechanics, and it's going to be very workmanlike on everything else. But it's like these games are pretty like flashy.
Give me the Fire Emblem anime.
Super slick.
Literally put the cutscenes into an anime because they would work so well in that format. Now it's really like elevated to that kind of entertainment status, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the look of this game is really interesting. I really like the sort of the world that we're in. The different kingdoms that you're going to be ending. Obviously, it's setting you up to visit all these different kingdoms to meet these different characters, and like learn about sort of their place in this world that you're in. That part of it feels really cool. And all of those characters from the different kingdoms all have sort of different looks too. Like the early one that we met, everyone looks like they're very like flowery. It's like they're even like the dresses the princess Saline or whatever is wearing. It looks like a big like a big blossom or whatever. Yeah. And then the prince is wearing like a thing. So all the looks are really like unique to the kingdom, which I think is really cool. So I like the setting and like the characters and stuff like that a lot so far.
Yeah. I'm a bit more mixed on just the story overall, which feels a little generic to me.
Yeah. Evil dragon, good dragon.
I mean, I'm still liking some of the characterizations and some of the back and forth, but as far as like the big overarching storyline, I'm not super hooked into that.
Yeah, unless there's some sort of like wow, like oh my gosh, I didn't see that coming moment.
Yeah, so
which happened in was it in Awakening or was it in
Three Houses?
Three Houses, yeah.
Yeah, so but kind of the way this game sets up is like the main character. I don't think it's a spoiler. I'll just say this: like the main character awakes. He's always been in a coma for 10,000 years, and you meet your mother, and the way it's depicted is like, is she actually your mother?
It's that we both had that like initial reaction. Like, is mommy evil?
She's acting really weird. She's making you pinky swear all the time, which is creepy.
It's so creepy.
But then something happens to her and she vanishes. So it's like, is she really gone? What's going on?
Yeah.
Which, if she ends up being something evil, that would be super similar to the Three Houses twist. So I doubt they would do that again.
So there's the other thing that happened. This might be a spoiler, so I will tag right here.
No, you won't.
I will. This might be a spoiler. Skip 2 minutes if you don't want to hear this. So there was a cutscene in the very early on of the Divine Dragon, the main character, Alir or whatever.
Yeah.
And instead of the blue and the red,
Oh.
it's all red.
Right.
She's looking very evil.
Like evil. Yeah.
Or he or she is looking very evil. So I wonder if there was some sort of fusing that creepy mommy did.
Yeah.
That's why you have like half green, blue, half red, and maybe like the twist is the spoiler's over. This is me predicting now. Like maybe the twist is like she separates into two characters.
Well, I'd love that because I don't like the look of this character.
And you have an evil side and a good side.
Oh, okay.
And you get rid of the evil side. You like kill it.
Oh, that would be cool.
Like an evil twin kind of thing.
Okay.
Could that be the twist?
I'd be down with that.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's put that in the maybe pile.
I also, I'm not loving the main character. Aside from the looks, I'm still not loving kind of the characterization of the main character. Kind of a wuss.
I don't like how everyone treats the main character. It's kind of weird.
Well, I mean, it is supposed to be like
a god,
basically a god, like a dragon in human form. What's not to like?
I mean, it's like it's weird because it's like everybody, all the conversations are just like so contrived.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, I can't believe you want to be my friend. This is amazing. And like I had like a support conversation with one of the twins. I think it's like. Fram or Clam.
Fram and Cram.
Cram and Clan and Fran and the girl one, the healer, whatever.
Right.
I gave her some horse manure as a gift, which is, why would you even make that a possibility?
I don't know why that's
and
a
she
gift.
goes, oh, this is stinky, but I love everything you give me, Divine One. Haha. That's literally what she said. And I was like, ew. Good thing I gave you some
It's a test.
poopy.
Yeah. We know some people who would have that reaction.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I don't like that.
Like if their boss gave them that.
A pile of poopy?
You thought of exactly what I wanted.
Ew, gross. Yeah, everyone is like too much of a buckster. So
right.
I don't really love that. So some of the character relationships right now I'm not feeling. And that's like, for me, it was like a little disappointing that there is not like a lot of the relationship things. Like you can't pair them, I don't think, right? To have like the babies.
I'm not far enough to know, but it sounds like a lot of that is not there.
That means I don't really need my relationship.
Yeah, I wasn't sure when they were saying like that part is pared down.
Like what
I was wondering what exactly is gone.
Yeah.
Like I didn't follow like the previews for this super closely, so maybe that's like already very clearly put out there.
Yeah, I was talking to producer Steffi about the whole thing too, because her and I are big like Fire Emblem relationship people, and she was asking me, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to play, and you do have the support conversations,
right? But
you're not like, it doesn't seem like it's leading up to something.
There's no like romancing or something.
I want to.
Oh, have you started your notebook?
Well, do I need the notebook now that there's no romancing? What's the point?
Platonic love? I don't know.
I don't care about that. Who cares? I can start it, but just to keep track. But I feel
like... You promised people that you would do this notebook.
Oh my god.
There's no way out now.
Well, okay, fine. I'll do it. But it just doesn't seem to make a difference now that there's no romance. Anyways, the other thing is the support conversation with the emblems.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not interested in the ghost husbando. Like, no. That's weird.
That whole mechanic...
is Sailor Moon.
So I do kind of like the story reason for why they're there.
Yeah.
Of like, we had this huge calamity and we had to bring them in from like another dimension to help. That's
fine. Yeah,
I kind of like that.
This is like a Marvel storyline.
But it does lean quite gimmicky to me.
Yeah.
Especially in gameplay.
Yeah.
Like we were both saying it felt like when Pokemon started to introduce Mega Evolution
or like crystal
the
thing.
terrestrializing. Every game had some different battle gimmick that was ultimately kind of pointless.
It's kind of pointless.
And it was the same thing. It's like, well, you can power up now, like a couple times a match. You can power up and do this thing. It's like, all right.
Do you want to merge with your emblem? Like, okay. But the animation is legit like Sailor Moon. Like every time they merge, I'm like, Moon, Prism, Power, because that's what it sounds like. It looks like to me. It's really funny. But yeah, like, and then you do have the support stuff with your emblem too. So I'm like, why?
Why would you talk to them?
Yeah.
Why would you not?
I guess I can talk to them. And also, you keep mixing up Crumb and Marth. It's Marth. You're with Marth.
Oh, sorry.
They're different.
There does seem to be a lot to that mechanic, though, where you can change who's wearing the ring, and you can inherit powers from them. And it seems like you can... I haven't tried this, but it's like you can create another ring that's people can, maybe for people who aren't wearing the main ring, they can have like a lesser version.
Right.
I need to figure out, and then you can fuse those.
You can fuse them.
So this seems like there's a lot going on with that.
I don't know if I have the.
And
energy.
I just got to the part where they introduced that, so I'm like, I need to spend some time there.
Right. So now I have 3 rings, and I've given them to people. So like I have like you don't need to keep all the rings. Like your main character, you pick like 1 ring per character.
Yeah, you spread them out.
So you can assign them to like your other.
Can you wear multiple rings? One
Yeah.
character? Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And you can switch back and forth too.
Oh, I thought it was just 1 ring per person.
Nope.
Wow, that seems.
I accidentally was wearing 2
You can really
rings.
max out.
12 rings.
Whoa.
You're just like, yes. And then I realized I could give it to other people, and I was like, oh. So I ended up doing spreading it out a bit more.
Right.
I think you're a little bit ahead of me. I did unlock a prologue, so good to see that those
Paralogue.
Paralogue. I'm glad to see those returning, because I actually sometimes in Fire Emblem games I love the paralogues better than the main story sometimes. They're so good. So
yeah.
I'm playing that to get more characters. My team is I think my team is really strong for a starting team. I'm shocked at how
you get a lot of people pretty fast.
You do, and some of them are really high.
Well, who do you like?
So I have a pretty good tank with what's that guy? The old man, buff grandpa.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes.
He's my main tank.
Yeah.
I paired him with the Sigurd ring or whatever. So now it's just 2 hot guys on a horse.
Is he going to be I forget the character from, I think it was Fates, who starts off super high level, but he eventually becomes weak because he basically gets experience super slow from there on.
Oh,
is he like that?
Well, I need him right now because
he's there to help you in the beginning.
I need him to be my shield, basically, because everyone else is kind of weak. But you do get a lot of pretty heavy characters right away. You get Louis, who's a pretty heavy character, and you also get the blonde guy, he looks like
Boucheron?
Boucheron. He looks like Gaston from Beauty and the Beast.
He's got a really small head.
But a giant,
and it's not just the armor, because when you see him back at the base, he's still got a really tiny head.
Have you changed their clothes yet? You can put them all in swimsuits.
No, I can buy the different outfits, but I really don't like any of them. How do I get that?
They can all be in. They already have it.
How?
Just go.
Tell me. I need to know.
It's not a bikini though.
Just tell me.
You go to the place to change your clothes, the clothes buying place, and then you can. There's an option. There's a buy or change.
Oh,
you just
I didn't do change.
You can put them in swimsuits, everyone, or you can put them in their workout clothes, which basically looks like modern clothes. They're wearing like modern t-shirt and sweatpants.
I'll be trying that immediately.
And also
when
sunglasses.
We're done here.
They can wear sunglasses.
Sunglasses,
because I don't know. What were we talking about? Who do we like?
Does it seem like this game has maybe not a lot, but a bit more of a sense of humor than some other Fire Emblem games?
No, I think it has less.
Oh, really? I was like, this.
Are they being serious? Maybe they're trying to be funny.
Well,
there was
some humor in the older games, but it was usually because some character was so uptight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one, I was there was that other dialogue that was not the Manure one, but another one that I was ew. I turned my nose at that.
Because they were the first battle, and it was oh, great dragon, lead us into battle, and then you're let's run away. That. Oh, I think
they're trying to be serious.
That seemed to be played for jokes.
Oh, is that supposed to be a joke?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out is this tonally a bit more lighthearted?
Oh, I thought they were just being serious. I didn't get the joke, if that was a joke.
Yeah, I'm still feeling that out.
Because they have another one where it's you're doing you're talking to Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he's when you look like you're sweating, take your clothes off and put it in the laundry, and I'll do your laundry for you. And I was like, what?
That was serious. Well, he's the steward of the dragon, so he's there to
think that he should
do
be
your
doing
bidding.
Laundry. It's weird. I don't want you to do my laundry. That's creepy.
In the battles, they really seem to be going back to the basics of the weapon triangle.
The weapon triangle.
I really like I like the animation of when you disarm the other character and
break,
and they drop the weapon dramatically.
It's very cool. The battles are so good. They feel so meaty and so fun. They truly perfected the Fire Emblem battle style. the grid, the thing, the triangle, like what's weak against what. Like you just know it now. Like I know it like by heart now. So I'm just like, oh, I got you. I got you backed into a corner. And it feels good. And it's like, oh, I'm going to crit right now. It's going to be awesome. You're going to die. Like it feels good. Like they do that well. It's good that there's less time in between these battles. That part I do. It's like very streamlined. So. Yeah, no, it feels good. Like it feels like the character. I have a ton of awesome characters that are seemingly very powerful, like the princess Celine or whatever. She's a really powerful mage. You get her like right at the beginning of the game. I was like, oh man, I don't remember getting like such strong characters in the beginning of the Fire Emblem game before. But I'm doing good. I haven't even had to restart, guys.
A lot of people did come to thumbs up your style of playing.
That's how you're supposed to play it.
I don't think it is, but it's
really
fine.
Is. I agree.
Do what you like.
Do what you like, but I need the stakes. Like I need to know that if I mess it up, then I will have to like basically waste my time and restart this whole thing again. So it really feels like a lot is on the line.
Self-flagellation.
It feels good. Again.
In gameplay.
I'm doing okay, guys. I'm doing okay. I'm thinking about changing the difficulty to hard because I usually play on hard classic. That's my usual.
Oh.
I did normal classic.
So they said you can adjust the difficulty up but not down.
That's right.
So you're locked in if you do that.
I know. I haven't decided yet. I remember during Three Houses, I was playing hard classic and it was like that Edelgard battle, and I had to restart, and it took me like 6 hours.
Oh,
it's pretty hard. But
maybe go a few more battles and just see.
But I did it.
How you're feeling about it?
Feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. You get the time turner now.
Did they have that in the last game? I feel like they did.
Yeah.
Of course, I didn't have to use it, but
that helps a lot.
So how far back can you go? How does that work?
You go back a couple turns. You can't use it that much though.
Right.
I haven't had to even use it yet, but I'm just glad I have it.
That is nice.
It's a safety net.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You will use that?
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever made-up rules you've got going?
No.
Yeah.
It's not made up.
It's made up.
No, it isn't. People understand me. I'm with my people. For sure.
All right.
Anyways, it's good. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm glad I decided to play this game because I really wasn't planning on it.
Yeah. I want to keep going, and obviously because I'm enjoying it, but I also want to see... Because people were saying, like, oh, this is like a streamlined version, or it's like Fire Emblem Light. I really want to know where the line is on that.
I don't know if it's Fire Emblem Light.
It's like, if it's the relationship that's gone, like, okay. But I'm curious to see.
Yeah. We'll definitely see where, things seem to be lacking, but right now I don't feel like it's too lacking.
No, right now it feels like it's like, it's got pretty much everything. Mm-hmm. Again, maybe there's a little bit less to do in the hub in between every single time.
The hub is like a resort.
Yeah.
It looks like the Four Seasons.
You can recruit pets.
That's cute. You can sit by the pool.
Is there a purpose to this? Like you can put them out in the field. Like you can choose which one. But do they like make?
I think they give you resources.
Stuff for you. It seemed like
they have like eggs and whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
It's cute.
Yeah.
You can get there's stables. You can get horses and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cute.
Speaking of horses.
Oh my gosh.
You've been playing Pocket Card Jockey on your telephone.
On my telephone.
Yeah.
Pocket Card Jockey.
Pocket Jockey.
Affectionately known as Pocky Jockey
unofficially
from now on, is the best game ever. It's literally like, this is my game of the year.
Oh.
Pocky Jockey.
2015, 2023 game of the year.
2023 game of the year, Pocky Jockey. I think 2015 with Pocky Jockey was my game of the year. Anyways, for those of you who don't remember Pocket Card Jockey, this was on DS. 3DS?
3DS.
Yeah. Made by Game Freak.
Right.
Perhaps, hot take, best game made by Game Freak is Pocket Card Jockey. It's such a crazy premise that you don't think would be fun, but somehow is addictively fun. And it works perfectly on the phone. You play games of solitaire to power up your horse during these like jockey races, basically. And you get all sorts of different horses to choose from. They have different stats. You can breed horses. There's all different like levels of races that you're in. Some are easier, some are harder. You're collecting these trophies. You're collecting these horses. Anyhow, it is so fun. It works so well on a mobile device. And I think it's perfect to release it now because just enough time has passed for me to completely forget how and like
it's fresh again.
It feels so fresh. Like I've completely forgotten what it was like playing it on 3DS. And now playing it again, it feels like a new game, but it has just enough. I remember just enough where I'm like nostalgic for it too.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I remember this part. Or like, oh, that's right, you do this. You know, you kind of like, the memories kind of come back to you as you're playing. Yeah, I have been playing this like since I've gotten it on Friday. Last Friday, I've been playing it like all weekend, basically. It's
so this is
so hard to put
Apple
down.
Arcade exclusive.
It is,
unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
I am holding out that this will eventually be released standalone.
Maybe, yeah. Just buy it.
Because I guess I could get like a free trial, but I know I'm going to forget and get charged and I'm going to be mad. So.
Yeah, and you probably don't want it for only 3 months.
And there's no other games really that I want to play on that, so it's like, what's the point?
I only have it because I have an Apple TV.
Yeah, I really wonder how they got Game Freak to do this, and it's basically exclusive to Apple Arcade.
I know. It's
like,
so weird.
Put this out on Switch, please.
It might be a limited exclusivity. Maybe.
Be nice. Yeah.
Maybe it is for like.
So you don't play vertical or horizontal on the phone?
Horizontal.
Okay. So but they've redone all the graphics?
Have they?
I don't know.
Because the graphics
You're the one who's played the game.
Pristinely beautiful. So, but also the 3DS graphics didn't look. The graphics aren't like. It's like 2D. It's like.
Well, yeah.
You know, it looked like Wario.
But I don't think
characters.
I think from what I saw, it was not exactly the same.
They must have.
They did something new.
It or something. Yeah. There are some new things that link you to the Apple Arcade as well. Like there's like an achievement thing now.
Microtransactions?
No, because you paid for it for your arcade
subscription. No, Apple Arcade games have no microtransactions. I think
I have not played many
I think
Arcade
that's a deal.
games, but I believe that is why you have that subscription. But yeah, there's like achievements. So you do. It's kind of like you unlock.
Oh right.
You do 10 of these things and you get another horse.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah. I'm currently riding a robot horse.
Whoa.
His name is Terminator. You get to name your horses. It's really fun. The horses level up, so there's like this incentive for you to like keep playing it over and over and over again, like I was doing, and then you like have these horses and you can breed the horses and then like hopefully get like a really cool horse. Yeah. You know? Like a robot horse, half robot horse, half something.
Whoa.
Well, if I breed the robot horse with a regular horse, what's gonna happen?
That poor horse.
What's gonna happen?
I don't know.
Yeah, this game is awesome. If you have an Apple Arcade subscription.
How much is that?
I don't know because mine's bundled into.
Here we go again. What's the price of a gallon of milk? I don't know. How much?
I have an Apple TV. Okay.
How much is
how
much is a bunch of bananas? I don't know. My butler gets that for me. Why would I know? How much is Apple Arcade? Who knows?
It's bundled with my Apple TV and my Apple Fitness. I think it's $20 for all.
A month?
All of it.
Well, that's a lot.
For Apple Fitness, Apple TV, and Apple Arcade.
Nobody cares.
Bundle. That's what I have. I don't know.
Not helpful.
Sorry. But get it.
Well, I'm jealous. I'm thinking of breaking up my 3DS just to play that, but I'll probably just
good.
wait. Probably just wait and see if they put this out somewhere else.
You should.
Or just to buy.
Yeah.
So I'll gladly do that. All right. On to the news? On to the news. This first story is a bummer that goes some places. So Microsoft is laying off 10,000 people. This seemed to be the week of everybody laying off 10,000 people.
So many layoffs this
Every
week.
tech company in the world.
So crazy. At the beginning, like just 2023 just started. And it's just like one big layoff after another.
What took so long?
Oh, ouch.
So this is like across all of Microsoft.
That's sad.
But it does also touch people at 343 Industries, the Coalition, and Bethesda.
Yeah.
And kind of a lot of the after drama focused on 343, where there were a lot of people who used to work there who came out and said, this shouldn't have happened. What happened with Halo Infinite was a real shame. There were a lot of problems with the leadership on that team. So a lot of people just coming out and really tisking that studio for not being everything it could be.
Yikes.
After that, there was this rumor that was getting pretty heated for a couple of days saying, well, they're downsizing because they're not actually going to be making Halo anymore. They're going to oversee Halo games made by outside studios.
Right.
In which case, yeah, you wouldn't need a lot of people to do that.
People in-house anymore. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
But then 343 came out and put out this statement, which I will read. Halo and Master Chief are here to stay. 343 Industries will continue to develop Halo now and in the future, including epic stories, multiplayer, and more of what makes Halo great. Signed, Pierre Hintz, the studio head. So wild that this rumor got so out of control that they had to put out this statement to counter it.
Well, the rumors, yeah.
But this studio, I forget how long, I mean, it's kind of been around for like close to 10 years now. Never feels like it's been able to totally reach its full potential.
Totally. And I'm not sure if it is like what they're saying with, you know, the leadership or something like that. It just seems like they're always struggling with something.
Yes, there's always like an important person leaving, or they always have to like rescope these games.
Or like some restructure happens in the middle of some critical time. Like it happens almost every single time. Well, there goes my prediction about Halo Co-op. Not putting it out now because they can't.
But it was already out. You didn't.
It's not happening.
It's a shame. I don't know how Halo continues to be in the conversation of like the biggest franchises in the industry, because I think that's more of a legacy thing at this point. We both played Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
Some
Great game,
some parts of it were cool.
also-
Some parts of it were not.
Some parts of it were not.
The outdoor parts were amazing. The indoor parts were basically
the
trash.
multiplayer was fun.
The multiplayer was fun.
It was really
I was talking.
fun.
I was talking about the single player.
Oh, the
mostly.
single player,
Yes.
there were some issues.
Yes.
You didn't even beat that game.
I did.
Oh, okay.
No, I did.
I thought you didn't because you got frustrated.
No. I beat that game. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. You know, it's one of these situations now. It's like, well, who's going to be the next company to lay off all these people? I don't know.
Yeah, gaming media too saw a lot of layoffs last week.
Right,
and
right.
It's really sad to see it. It's always like very volatile, and it's like I feel like layoffs nowadays is one of those things where like a hop on the bandwagon situation where it's like, oh, someone's doing it, okay, we better do it now too, so that we don't get as much.
It's because somebody's shareholders like, hey, they're tightening the belt. How are you doing that?
It's all the shareholder stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah, it was GameSpot and Giant Bomb this time.
Yeah.
Which they've been involved in a number of these acquisitions where they get acquired by this company who then lays off all the staff and totally like hamstrings what they can do. So it's like, what are you doing? What did you think would happen when
what is your end plan here?
Like at Giant Bomb, they had 3 video people and they just laid off 2 of them. So, and that's a video oriented outlet. So what do you think is going to happen?
I know I saw really like sort of like just heartbreaking tweets from people, and then like stuff like from Giant Bomb that's like, we're still going to try to put these videos out. It's like you can just see the struggle of trying to do the work that they've done with like a completely like body team of people, basically.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah, so our heart goes out to them. Obviously,
Really
we were not laid off, but we were part of something that felt quite similar.
Yeah, exactly.
So, we know how that goes, and it's not fun.
Yeah, and it totally upends your reality. So
yes.
you have to like figure out what to do, and it's really hard to do that.
Next story is about the Last of Us TV show, which is doing numbers on HBO.
The numbers.
So the first episode got 4.7 million viewers, which was the second largest debut after House of the Dragon. Since Boardwalk Empire launched in 2010. I didn't know Boardwalk Empire was a big deal.
I didn't either.
But I guess it was.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's...
it seems like that they always have something in that Sunday evening time slot.
What do they call it? Prestige TV?
The premiere,
Prestige TV
exactly.
time spot.
Right.
Yeah, White Lotus was before that, and then I think that did huge numbers, obviously won a whole bunch of
awards.
They
have Succession.
They had
They basically always have something big in that slot.
And that slot works for them.
Yeah.
It's like the Thursday podcast slot.
Right.
This is
but
a
for
prestige podcast slot.
But for this to be like the second biggest thing in 13 years.
Yeah.
Is wow.
And to be, at the heels of House of the Dragon, to think of how mainstream this franchise has really gotten is really remarkable. I have not watched, we both have talked about this, excuse me, I have not watched this show, and I'm kind of scared.
Will not be watching.
I probably won't be watching it. Yeah, I probably won't be.
Yeah.
I don't think I can handle it. I think emotionally, I would not be able to do this.
I can emotionally barely make it through Sonic Week, let alone watch this TV show about the horrors of the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, it just seems like it's so dark and
It's a bummer.
so depressing.
Yeah.
I honestly, emotionally don't think I can handle it.
Yeah.
So I will not be watching it. Maybe if something, I don't know. I'm not sure what can convince me to watch it, but maybe something could happen.
Yeah, we talked about this on the bonus Q&A, but the moment I knew I was all the way out was when I saw the headlines. It was like, The Last of Us TV show took this devastating scene and made it even more emotionally crushing. It's like, yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
Like, I don't want to be devastated emotionally on a Sunday night. I don't.
You don't?
No.
Oh.
I need all of my energy to come to this podcast on Monday.
What?
Just kidding.
Well, good for the 4.7 million people who are down for that. Yeah.
Yes, but The Last of Us.
All right. Next is a story from our good buddy Takashi Mochizuki. Does that name ring a bell?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
About how Nintendo is planning to boost Switch production in kind of a switcheroo of plans. With the guidance, it seems like Nintendo's feeling confident about this year, making more systems. I think this bodes well for our prediction that we will not see
any new hardware
this year, that Nintendo's just going to ride out this very profitable, very popular, very lucrative.
Don't rock the boat. And they're probably going to boost it for Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
Got a boost for that for sure.
And throughout the year.
Yeah, people are going to be buying that. They're going to, if you didn't upgrade to an OLED yet, this is what you're doing now. You're going to upgrade to an OLED, get your Tears of the Kingdom. Oh yeah.
Right.
That is absolutely the plan.
Right. So this was not an official announcement by Nintendo, but it is from Mochizuki, who is extremely well sourced and plugged in.
Oh yeah.
So I do tend to believe it. And I think it makes a lot of sense. There were some people who were like baffled at this, but I think those are the people who are just wishing daily for an announcement.
It's not happening, guys.
This makes a lot of sense business-wise for them.
Yeah. No, I think it's good, and I think they'll sell.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
Our last story was breaking news from this morning. I don't know if you even saw this.
Yeah, I was paying attention.
There was kind of a direct-ish presentation for the SteamWorld series.
That was really cute what they did. They had like a little teaser for it in like their tone, like the SteamWorld tone.
They had a cool set.
Little cool set.
For this.
Yeah.
And we're very friendly with
fans.
Image and Form, who make the SteamWorld games, and we love these games. So we're pumped for this.
Fans of this.
But their big announcement was a new game, SteamWorld Build, which this series is always changing genres, which is something that I enjoy about it.
Yeah. And usually you're like, oh man, I kind of wish for like
another one of the last ones.
Yeah, but then whenever I play the new genre, I'm like, this is great. This is a great new genre for you.
Right. So this is a kind of a city builder / RTS, where it's like above ground, below ground. Above ground, you're building your city, and then below ground, you're kind of doing like mining and fighting. All the stuff that's underground. So that's a very cool idea.
Very cool.
Again, it's not what I would have expected them to do, and I never do expect what they're going to do.
They're full of surprises.
Coming out this year, consoles and PC. I think there's a demo that's out on PC right now. They also announced this, which was really surprising. They said there's 4 total, including Build, 4 SteamWorld games in development.
Yeah.
Which, it's a lot.
It's a lot. We don't know when they're coming out.
So they're part of this. They have this new parent company, Thunderful.
That's right.
Which owns a number of kind of indie-ish studios.
They do like the downhill bicycle game.
Yeah, that was one of their. That was one of the. I mean,
Lonely Mountain. That's
they have a bunch. So I guess they're really focusing these teams. I wonder how they're going to space these games out.
Yeah, that was part of the announcement. So
because it's a good big-ish franchise, but I don't know if you really want to saturate the market that much with all these new SteamWorld games.
Yeah, unless they're really different and they're coming out on different kinds of platforms, right, whatever.
But I'm down for this. I love these games, so I'm excited about this.
I'm so excited. I will play anything by this studio. Honestly, like I have so much faith in the ability for them to make just amazing games, and I do. I'm like, before I definitely used to think like, oh, please just make another SteamWorld, original SteamWorld classic game, I guess. But now I'm like, I'm down for a new thing. Like, I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, can't wait to see it.
Cool. All right, we have an all Sonic Q&A this week, so strap in. As always, every question comes from our Patreon community. Let's get started.
Yeah.
First question is from Brooke Obscura. The year is 1991.
Oh.
Nintendo is asked to develop a Sonic the Hedgehog game for the Super Nintendo, and Sega is asked to develop a Super Mario game for the Sega Genesis. What do you think those games would look like, and which developer do you believe would end up creating the better game?
Oh.
So I think we have been both consistent in saying for Sonic games, like, it gets tough when you're asked to do like really precise platforming.
Yeah.
So I feel like Nintendo would keep the speed element, but really dial in the platforming.
I think so too. The other thing about Sonic games that we both noticed when we were playing the classic games was that in a vast contrast to Nintendo games, those Sonic levels are so
massive,
big,
yeah,
and just like almost like a little bit bloated at times, because you're never going to be able to explore it going at that speed.
Right.
I think Nintendo, like, think about Super Mario Brothers 3. Those levels are like 20 seconds
super
long.
short, yeah.
I think they would do that. They would like dial it in and simplify the levels to really get you to do like, what it is that you're supposed to do, which is platforming at that speed.
See, so I've been thinking about this. How in Mario games you have a normal walking speed and then there's a run button?
Yeah.
Like, what if they just had that in these games, where it was like, when you want to go fast, you hold down the run button, you go, you speed up super fast, and then you have kind of the normal walking that's more for
exploring
when they're asking you to, jump on intricate platforms.
That would be a Mario game then.
Yeah. So the Sega developed Mario game.
I think it would have really good music.
Yeah, I'd be curious about the music.
Yeah. I think it would maybe it would focus more on exploration as well. Probably have a different look. Mario would be a lot tougher. He'd probably have more attitude and more personality. Mario has no personality really in the classic Mario games. You're not playing it for Mario's personality. You're playing it to platform. So I think they would develop Mario's personality.
I'm going to say...
And give him like an actual dialogue and all sorts of stuff.
I'm going to say, with all the stuff we saw in Sonic Adventure about Sonic crossing over into the real world, which I'm still confused about how he got there, or what he's doing there, or why the cops are always after him. What did he do?
The military.
What did you do, Sonic? I feel like it would be like Mario goes back to New York. And he's like platforming
and he's like a plumber
through the city, right?
But he would have like a real backstory.
I think that's what they would do.
Yeah. All right.
Bruce Stash has a fun question. If you were an animal in Sonic, fill in the blanks. Kit the blank, Krysta the blank.
I'll do it for you, and you do it for me.
Okay.
Kit the... I don't know. You do it for me first.
Come on.
Narwhal.
I'm thinking some sort of like a bird for you for some reason.
Why?
Yeah. I don't know.
Why?
Well, if it's Sonic, it needs to go fast, okay? Everybody's got to go fast.
A bird? It cannot go that.
So it's not going to be
hopping along.
Birds are fast. They can fly, you see. It's not going to be Krysta the sloth.
Oh, I could be a sloth.
I'm going to say like a seagull, I think.
That's the ugly.
What?
You don't want to be a seagull. You're doing it badly.
Well, fine. We can go back to Krysta the Hedgehog from earlier on. You can be that.
I think you would be like a rabbit.
What?
Like a little bunny rabbit.
Not Kit the Shark?
No.
You could do some great, speed underwater.
I was thinking that, but you're not cool enough to be a shark. You can be a bunny.
Come on. That's insulting. Is there a bunny on this shirt?
No.
There is a crocodile, though.
There's a crocodile.
Is that a bug at the bottom? What the heck is that?
I don't want to be a seagull.
Kit the bunny?
Krysta the seagull? No.
Well, we both failed this. Thanks a lot, Bruce Stash.
It's not his fault.
Frulio. How did you react when you learned that Sonic was joining Smash Brothers? Did you refuse to work on the game after finding out the news? Well, we didn't work at Nintendo at that point.
We did not. No. Yeah. So he's always been part of Smash.
That was for Brawl was the first game.
We certainly never chose those characters, though. You've never played Sonic as Sonic in Smash, have you?
I mean, I've tried it.
Oh.
I mean, I've tried every character, obviously. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen you play as Sonic.
I was obviously, I was like, I don't love this, and I thought there were, a lot of great Nintendo characters that they obviously could have considered over Sonic, but at the same point, it's like, oh, they're kind of branching out.
Yeah.
This was, the first time they'd really gone outside of,
like the
traditional Nintendo games.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting, and I thought, well, there's some people are going to like this. Mm-hmm. So I was very conflicted about it.
I think I always just saw it as like, oh, Smash is going to be a game that includes all iconic video game characters, and whether or not I liked Sonic or
20 years in advance, you knew.
Well, yeah.
Right?
What was I saying? You totally distracted me.
Something a seagull would say.
Hey, you're just mad because I called you a bunny.
I am.
Oh no. So I was like, okay, well then it's just gonna be like all of these like famous video game characters will be in this game,
Yeah.
And like whether I cared about Sonic or liked Sonic, I knew that he was an important video game character.
Right.
So.
Right. Okay. Jordan Collett asks, Kit mentioned part of his beef with Sega was their anti-Nintendo advertising slogans. What's your retaliation anti-Sega slogan going to be?
So the one that you hated most of all was Sega does what Nintendo don't.
Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
Oh, Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
But see, I don't think Nintendo would ever go outright after them.
But you can do it now. Say it.
No.
Yes.
I don't... I wouldn't like Nintendo to do the thing that upset me.
Okay.
That's what I liked about it. It's like, this is classy, all right? I'm a classy guy. This is a classy game system. This is me as like a 9-year-old. I'm classy. Okay. I'm drinking this Mott's apple juice out of Crystal, all right?
Sparkling apple cider out of Crystal.
Yeah.
You don't have any slogans?
No, I don't think they would do this.
We're classy. That's the slogan.
Yeah, pure class. No.
Well, that's no fun.
Well, fine. You come up with one.
Well, I don't have the beef. I can't come up with one.
You can't come up with one?
Let's see. Nintendo, what would they say? They used to have like a lot a lot of 90s stuff that was
They did have the Play It Loud campaign.
Play It Loud.
Where they tried
they had Tude.
They went like 75% of the way of what Sega was doing, and it was really lame.
I can imagine like
it was super lame.
Like if they were to do it, it would be some sort of like anatomy of Mario versus the anatomy of Sonic. Oh. And they would like tag all the things that Mario could do better, like jump higher, like have all these cool, power-ups, like can do like all of these things, and then Sonic would be like the lame one that's like all you can do is go fast or something like that. I can see Nintendo do
I feel like they would do it in a very like subtle way where it'd be like the 1990s subtweet where it's like, who is this directed to? It's like you kind of know, but they're not directly calling it out.
Do you think that they always were like that, though? I think Nintendo back in the 80s and 90s were, like, a little bit more in your face.
Or they would do something like an ad where it would be, like, Mario in the front, but there would be, like a burned-up Sonic in the back, or, like, he got fire-flowered or something.
Is it like the Halloween?
It would be hidden.
R.E.P.
Yes.
R.I.P. Xbox,
yes.
R.I.P.
It would be like
Sony?
that. It would not be in your face, but it would be subtle.
It'd be in the background.
Right.
It's like a graveyard with like Sonic's gravestone or something.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah. So still classy. We're not going all out with it.
It's just like passive aggressive though.
It's fine. Tech Magic asks, what are your opinions on the Mario and Sonic Olympic game series? I'm sure it was pretty exciting for all Sonic and Mario fans for them to be in the same game and a big crossover besides Smash Bros. Brawl with all their respective characters, even if it wasn't a mainline type of game.
Yeah, we did marketing on this game, actually.
I dislike these games.
Oh.
I'm insulted that the beautiful Mario characters have to share a game with these things on your shirt, who are not on the same level. I'm sorry. I have to be very direct with this.
Wow. We definitely, so I worked on these games for a time at Nintendo, and it was like a big discussion at Nintendo that was exactly what you're saying, where it's like, okay, the marketing angle for this is like, for the first time, these two rival characters are going to be like in one game. Like, let's really lean into this.
Yeah.
with Sega. You know, it was pre-social media, I think, at the time, so we didn't have a lot of fun. I could see us have, you know, like Nintendo and Sega having fun on Twitter now if they did this again.
Yeah.
But we didn't have that back in the day. So it was a lot of like...
Well, too bad you need the Olympic Committee to approve your tweet 18 years in advance.
I was going to say, the other really, really difficult
Can you write some tweets for 2055? Thanks.
Oh my God. The IOC, worst.
The Olympic Games on Mars, can you write those tweets now? Thanks.
Worst people ever to work with is the IOC. They are awful. And dealing with that was way worse than dealing with a Mario and Sonic rivalry. We all just banded together to become a rival and our rival was the IOC, basically, is what happened.
Yeah.
But yes, I remember that was a big deal in the Nintendo office. It was like, yes, we're gonna like really, we're in on this. Like we are joining together with Sonic, with you know, the Sonic fans.
Yeah. So Mario and Sonic, I think, are on the same level as far as being iconic and, you know, people having a favorite. It's the supporting cast where it falls apart for me. I do not think they're on the
There's
same
not
level.
a Luigi. I guess Tails is the
Tails,
Luigi
yeah.
to...
So
Tails
it's like
is okay.
you have a Luigi comparison and you have a Bowser comparison with Eggman. After that, who's the Yoshi of this motley crew? I don't know.
And who's a Donkey Kong?
Right. Who's any of these?
Who's
Princess Peach?
Who's Princess Peach?
Right.
Is it Amy?
Who's the Wario? Who's the Waluigi? All of them.
Waluigi, we don't need a comparison.
19,
we don't need more Waluigis.
You got 19 Waluigis.
We don't need more Waluigis in this world. Is this the King K.
Can
Cruel?
Nintendo like sell Waluigi to Sega to put in Sonic games?
Is this like the King K. Cruel?
And he becomes
equivalent?
Waluigi the Hedgehog. Oh, I should Google that. Waluigi the Hedgehog.
No!
I'm gonna do that later too.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh boy. The next question is from the Keggers. If you could create your own ultimate Sonic game, what would it look like? 3D or 2D, platformer / action / open world, etc.
I do like the 3D ones better. I think.
One of the games that we did not play that a lot of people...
Generations?
Yes, that people said was cool is Generations, which, again, I haven't played it, so I don't know all the specifics, but it seems to be like a melding of 2D and 3D.
Yeah.
I think there's some cool stuff you could do with that.
Yeah.
So maybe my answer is a game that already exists.
Yeah. I think 2D works better when you're trying to go fast, but I'm so bad at going fast that I prefer the 3D where it's more like, it feels a little bit more like lenient on the player.
Yeah.
So I do like a cinematic 3D game. So yeah, like that's my preference. Like I love to see another, you know, or like I would make another like, you know, story driven 3D Sonic game. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
Like a Sonic Adventure, but
modern,
obviously.
I keep coming back to this idea of having more control over the run versus the kind of more standard walking.
Yeah.
And I think that would apply in either a 3D or a 2D game.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to get Sonic Generations because I'm just really curious
Now
about
we're
it.
curious.
See, look, now I'm just spending my own money, giving my own money.
To
Katie.
Sega people?
To Katie and Sega.
To Katie.
Look at this. That's a win for them, right?
That's true.
It's a big win, yeah. Okay. Zroid came in hard. Zroid actually has the next 4 questions.
Whoa!
So, way to go, Zroid. But here we go. First, y'all knew this was coming. It's time for Sonic questions. Kiss, marry, kill. So our options are classic Sonic, modern Sonic,
Oh, no.
or original movie Sonic.
Ugly Sonic?
Ugly movie Sonic, not the redone. It's a shame.
The redone
Redone movie Sonic is very
so
cute. Very cute.
I would kiss that all day.
I would not kill that.
Okay, so Kiss, Marry, Kill. Definitely kill ugly movie Sonic, because disgusting. I don't like that. It's creepy. I would kiss classic Sonic, because it's cute and tiny. And yeah, it's like a little pet. It's like kissing your dog.
We decided that you're about the same height as movie
I'm
Sonic.
not!
And that you're 2 feet tall.
I'm not 2 feet tall. You're spreading lies.
This big.
I'm not 2 feet tall.
So say it again. What were your choices?
I'm gonna kiss classic Sonic because it looks like you're kissing your puppy dog.
All right.
And then I guess I'll marry modern Sonic.
Yeah.
We probably are about the same height. So
Okay.
that would work.
I'm going to take a different... I'm going to kill classic Sonic because it caused me so much angst over the years.
Oh, no.
Then I am then going to embrace the darkness and kiss ugly movie Sonic. And then I'm going to settle down to marry modern Sonic.
So we're both marry modern Sonic.
I have a very chaotic approach to this.
a Chaos Emerald approach?
Like a Chouse Emerald.
A Chouse...
What's the deal with these emeralds?
You can live in the Chouse Emerald Garden.
Oh, gosh. Mario asks Sonic out on a date, dinner and a movie. Which movie do they see and which restaurant/cuisine do they dine at? It's Mario's choice, but he's trying to impress Sonic, you know?
Oh.
Does he take Sonic out to his own movie? That's a power move.
No, it's trying to impress him?
Yeah. You want to come see a movie that I'm in? Wouldn't that be impressive?
No, that'd be annoying.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wouldn't want that.
What if it was like the premiere and you get dazzled?
And you get like
by the glitz and glamour of Hollywood.
A red carpet?
Yeah, you get a red carpet.
Okay, that's different. That's different. That's a different experience.
Wow.
But
I'm on another level with this.
I don't really love that either. I think that they should both go see the Detective Pikachu movie.
Oh.
As a neutral ground.
Okay.
And they can point and laugh at that because they can be like, haha.
Yeah.
And then
what was that?
I was thinking
Olive Garden?
Oh,
Wiener Schnitzel for the chili dogs?
The chili dogs. I was thinking,
that's
not
glamorous.
That's not glamorous.
That's
is there a place that sells like chili dog spaghetti?
Cincinnati Chili.
They should go there.
Skyline Chili, yes.
They can go there.
They're getting on Mario's private jet and they're going to Cincinnati and then they're flying back for the premiere.
The premiere of the Mario movie.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Or they can go watch the Pikachu.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Mario might like that too. He's kind of like
Cincinnati Chili.
It sounds good.
I've been curious about Cincinnati chili for a long time. If anybody out there knows anything about it, please tell us. I asked both Reggie and Doug Bowser to tell me all about Cincinnati chili.
They had no clue.
No, because they both worked at Procter & Gamble, which is in Cincinnati.
And
they gave me a lot of information, but I've yet to actually have it. Apparently you can get it canned. I don't think that's the way to eat it, though.
I want to have it, like, fresh.
Maybe we can make it.
It's not that hard, right? It's just spaghetti covered in chili. I have a good chili recipe.
This ain't that. This is Cincinnati chili.
But what kind of chili
The Natty. Huh?
The Natty.
It's from the Natty. You can look it up. I am going to say Mario's got to take Sonic to an Italian restaurant. But in this case,
not Olive Garden.
If you're familiar with classic cinema, we're going to the Italian restaurant from the first Godfather movie, where Michael Corleone makes his move, gets a little something from the back of the toilet, and they ain't going to a movie afterwards. If
That's
if you don't mind
violent.
Next question. Zoroid, what would you do if you could harness the power of the Chaos Emeralds?
The Chaos Emeralds?
What would you do? So is this basically...
What happens when you get the power, though?
Is this basically the Infinity Gauntlet?
You can zap people off the
Snap
planet?
Sonic? Can I do that?
Wait.
I don't know.
What is the power of the Chaos
know.
Emeralds? You just get a lot of energy? In the movie, there was a lot of energy. In the games, it seems to be some sort of power-related...
Well, Sonic had the power. There was nothing about an emerald in the movie, right?
But is that derived from
He had the power in his quills.
In himself.
Right. He was the power.
He was the power.
Yeah. The movie people knew, like, this is nonsense. We don't need this.
So then you collect the emeralds to do what? What is the end goal?
Dominate? World domination?
I don't know. It sounds like it's just like an all-powerful thing.
Yeah, so what would you do?
One wish? Do I get to blow up like a small country or something like that? I'm not doing that. I don't know. I guess maybe we can like go to the moon or something? And live there? Colonize the moon? Finally build lunar colonies? I'm like Elon Musk.
All right, Elon Musk.
I don't know. I don't know what
the
they
world's
do.
greatest with the ultimate power of the Chaos Emeralds, you'd have to create the world's ultimate Chow Garden. That's my answer. I don't know. Don't ask me what would be there because I don't know. All right, last question. Since his peak popularity in the 90s, Sonic has maintained some notoriety, but has really significantly waned in relevance in our zeitgeist. Meanwhile, Mario, an objectively strange character to be used as a mascot, has managed to stem the tide. I think even Kit would have to admit that in the 90s, we all thought Sonic was much cooler than Mario. No. This was the crux of Sega's marketing. But why do you think the Mario IP has remained this popular and successful for the last 30 plus years while Sonic has merely hung around? Is it based solely on the quality of their respective video games, or are there other factors involved? Mm-hmm. So I do push back on the idea that we talk about this with Katie. It's like, I do think the Sonic IP has come back around and is like really, really strong right now.
It is, yeah. They've done a good job bringing it back.
And they had more challenges because, again, they had all these dips in quality along the way.
And I think console-wise, too, is really hard for them.
Yeah,
Sonic didn't have a home for a while.
Right. So it could have happened where Sonic just became irrelevant.
Yeah.
Due to them not having a platform and the games having such yo-yo-ish.
Nintendo didn't have that issue at all.
No.
They were just very sustained and very like consistent for like all these years. I think that helped Mario become stable as well.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the game's quality has something to do with it. You know, there's never been a Mario equivalent to Sonic 06. Maybe they should try.
Paper Mario
I wonder
franchise.
if there's something...
Sonic 06.
The idea that Mario is, like, mildly generic, does that help? That it's just kind of everybody, it's all appealing?
Maybe.
You see yourself in Mario?
But Pikachu is not generic, and it has maybe more notoriety than both Mario and Sonic.
It's kind of generic.
It's a yellow rat that shoots electricity. That's not something you can relate to.
It doesn't have a personality.
It does. It's cute.
It's cute. It's fat. I mean, being cute certainly helps.
I think being cute helps.
In life and in video games and whatever else.
Yeah, being cute definitely helps. Mario's cute too, though.
True.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure about the personality thing. I don't know. I think that maybe has less to do with it than the idea or the fact that it was just consistent with Mario.
I think consistency.
I think like it's gonna fall out of your head if there's nothing if there's no good games out and nobody's talking about it for a while.
Right.
I think that's what it is. But yeah, good on Sega for like turning that around and bringing Sonic. Really
I'm
bad.
serious. Last year, it felt like
amazing.
every week there was some big new news thing happening.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. That's it for our questions.
Wow. A Sonic-focused episode 50.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. This is our second to last thing for Sonic Week, and we're wrapping it all up tomorrow with a movie watch-along.
That's right.
And we can reflect back on this next week, but we're doing it. It's happened.
Yeah, we are.
All right. Well, let's thank our wonderful superstars now for making this possible. I will go first.
Okay.
Aaron Hash.
Ben Eichhorn.
MaruMayhem.
Eigenverse.
Jordan Collett.
KissMyFlapjack.
Mike Chin.
Mr. Rogers.
RainTech.
Roy Eschke.
Switching it up, _
Sephazon.
TheSharkAmongMen.
vgmlife.
Link, the hero of wins.
Angela Bycroft.
And her pig Molly. TurboChargeNerd.
Thomas O'Rourke.
And Simon Barrera.
Yay.
Woo! And our One Up Club graduation ceremony, Aaron Burgundy,
Adam and Ansley.
Ajahn Malari,
Ale Alejandro.
Alexandra Pratt,
Astro Dev.
Blazed and Confused,
Bookem Dano.
Brad SF56,
Brookie Kazooie.
Bruce Dash,
Chancellor Fairley.
Christopher Lay,
Cozy Tar.
Captain Cinnamon Buns,
Captain Alex.
Sea Roper 17,
Daniel Cole.
Daniel Phillips,
Daniel Valencia.
Dachshund,
Doodoo Face.
Douglas Chumix,
Dino Punch.
Elite Peach,
Espars 50.
Ezrato,
Fart Priest 69.
Furbound,
Fernie and Jess Forever.
Fox Deploy and his dog Bernard,
Fred Rossi.
Full Combro,
Game Hunt 64.
Gar,
Garrett Hullfish.
Gordon's Son,
Ian Shea.
Israel Izzy,
Jay Rando.
Jabroni Jones,
JK99.
JBJ,
Jeff Yoakum.
Jeffrey Hernandez,
Jerry 92602.
Jesse Hernandez,
John Responte.
Jonathan Rowe,
Jordan Hemmerly.
Joseph DeHaze,
Joshua Clements.
Juji Fruit,
Julius Westenberg.
Just Camtro,
Kai Commercio.
Kawa 2796,
Kelpshake.
Kevin Delane,
Krisu.
Christopia Party With Me,
Kyle Gamer Barry Rookie.
Kyle Kretzer,
Kyle LaBooth.
Kyler Nelson,
Linnell Stickman.
Lego My Frago,
Lemma.
Leviahu,
Lil Sebastian.
Lit,
Mad Dog 5981.
Marky Man 64,
Matthew Rawald.
Mecha Dragon 101,
Megan.
Michael Cravens,
Michael White.
Mikey,
Monster Jordy.
Motomania,
Mr. Andy Pong,
Murph,
Mytran,
Nazar,
Nathan Burkhart,
Panda Buns,
Paul Gale Network,
Piano Psychopath,
Prime Factor,
Prince Charmless,
Quinn Hardigan,
Raver,
Ray Carone,
Ryuji Utsuho Oku,
Renee Rivers,
Reese Williams,
Ryoth One,
RJ Kern,
Rob Osborne,
Ronana Rex,
Rox,
Rayonetta,
Sam Neeland,
Sharif Jackson,
Shinryu,
Slowbro,
Schmiggles,
Shrews,
Silly Ferret,
Sparkling Salt,
Spicy Munchkin,
Starhawk Productions,
Steel Citron,
The Tales of Link,
Tefew,
Thomas Alvarez,
Travis Torline,
Troopage,
Tugs Puppy Bear,
Tuskoob,
Tyler Geis,
Video Game Stupid,
Virtual Bot,
Wicked Davy,
Will Ernst,
Will Johnson,
Zudiver,
Zelgaroth.
and Zoid.
Oh my god, there's a lot.
Wow, the Daniels are coming on strong. There's a lot of Daniels.
It's Daniels against Michael
Daniel.
in the war of the One Up Club. Yay! Well, thank you so much to our wonderful One Up Club members. Get ready for info on the latest monthly meetup. It's going to be fun. Join us on Patreon at patreon.com/KitandKrysta to be part of our wonderful Patreon community and keep this show going. What else?
If you're watching on video, you can go ahead and subscribe to this channel, Kit and Krysta. And if you're listening on audio, you can leave a 5-star rating and also a review.
And follow us on our other social media channels. We are on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and of course YouTube. And that's it.
That's it.
We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.